And this is Celebrate Truth Radio. I am your host, Robbie Davidson. Join with me, my pastor, Nate Wolfe. How you doing, Pastor Nate?
Oh.
Hey, I'm here, Robbie. I'm doing very well. Just been super busy.
I don't think I can hear you guys.
We've got some technical issues tonight. We're trying to get GodRules on, and we're able to hear him, but he's not able to hear us. So bear with us for a few minutes here while we get things sorted out.
Yeah, feel free to say hello in the chat, catch up, tell us what's up. We'll hopefully get this worked out shortly here.
Hello?
Testing.
It's not working. That is not working. What in the world is going on here? You guys, just a minute. I'm going to try something real quick.
Sounds good. We're on tonight with GodRules, and right now we're running through some technical issues on his end. He's actually trying to get things working so that he can hear us. We can hear him, and he's just dropped the call. So we're going to give him a show back here. Hopefully we can get this organized here right away. I know that we have officially started the show, so until we get things worked out, let's see what we got going on here.
All right, so I'm back on with you guys.
Can you hear us?
Maybe I can hear you from the video itself. I actually turned the video on, but it seems to have a lag or something to it. So I don't know.
That probably will not be the best way to interact because there'll be such a long lag. So there must be some problem on his end as far as maybe his audio not coming through. Everyone can hear us loud and clear. Please allow us in the chat room and on the radio, if you can maybe just respond, make sure that you can hear me okay. We got Kimberly saying that yes, she can hear us. So you can hear us. And
let us know who you can hear. If you can hear Robbie and I.
Yeah, can you hear both me and Pastor Nate? Because that would go a long way to understand what's going on. And we've got Rob Baxter in the house. Calm Crash. Want to say a huge thank you to Rob Baxter for helping to set this up. Actually, it was Rob that
it's really strange,
connected both of us. So it's really strange that we can't.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to try to just maybe log off and log back on, see if that fixes it.
Sounds good. All right, so GodRules is going to log off Skype, and then he'll do a reboot, and maybe we'll be good to go. I think that will work.
Yes.
Hopefully.
In the meantime, if you want, I can just share real quick what's going on in here over in my neck of the woods.
Absolutely, yeah. Talk about what's been going on with you.
So technically, we're still in winter here in Toledo, Ohio, but it was a balmy 40-something today, and the sun was actually out, so that was really nice. Didn't get much sleep last night because we got a new puppy. It's actually my oldest puppy, and but he's at our house temporarily. So new puppies, man. They have a lot of issues at night. They don't like being in alone, and they make lots of noise. So there's that. But other than that, everything's great. And I am getting ready this week to head down to Arkansas for the Isaiah 46:10 conference, February 28th through the 1st. I'll be speaking 3 times down there, so that'll keep me nice and busy. And then also, many of you know I'm working a little bit with Paul on the Plane, particularly relating to the weekly headlines, the community events calendar, and now what we're calling our Meetup in a Box. And this is actually launching tonight. In fact, you can catch Paul on the Plane anytime now. He's going to be doing a live stream tonight as well. But if you go to the website, paulontheplane.com/meetup-in-a-box, meetup-in-a-box. And it has all the information there. But we have a kit that we put together working in conjunction with Rob Skiba and his atmospheric refraction kit with the skyline, ships going over the curve, and the sun test, which is pretty cool. And he's included with that a 32 gigabyte thumb drive, which has a bunch of goodies on it from testing the globe. It's got Mark Sargent's audio book on there, videos from David Weiss. It's got some songs from Flat Earth Man. It's going to have Paul on the Plane's series, Faking Space. I mean, this is really awesome. Also included, we have 10 Flat Earth flyers from Nathan Thompson, founder of the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion group, and a information sheet called 10 Suggestions for a Great Meetup. And also it comes with it free meetup support with yours truly, Nate Wolfe. So that is actually launching tonight, the Meetup in a Box on paulontheplane.com.
That's actually really exciting. And it will be launching tonight.
Yeah, and it's geared for people who want to, it's geared for people that say, hey, you know what? I don't have a meetup in my area. I want to start one, but I don't know where to start.
Hey, is this
hey, Tony?
GodRules? Can you hear us?
No.
Speakers.
It's so crazy.
We're so close. We have half of Tony. We have half of Tony ready to go.
That's right. We can hear him, but he can't hear us.
Let me try this.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's just an audio thing.
It's a good thing the show is 2 hours, right? That gives us time to work out the bugs.
Lots of time. Yeah, lots of time to get it figured out. We never had a show where we couldn't get it figured out or someone couldn't get it figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For some reason, this is not working. What is wrong? I do not know what's wrong.
Yeah,
we can still hear you. Okay. Well,
I'm not sure if he's still listening to us on the video. If he is, maybe what you could do is you could just talk the whole time. I could just say one question, tell us about you and just go. And then we could maybe do it that way. That would work. I mean, if you're a big talker and you could talk, 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes at a time, we could definitely do the show this way. It's unfortunate, but we're live and the show must go on, as they say. So hopefully we can get everything worked out. We can definitely
Is he listening on the radio, revolution.radio, or is he listening on
he just pulled it up. I think he just pulled it up on YouTube. He had the link. I had sent it to him. So he would have the link for the show. He might be listening in to find out. And everyone, I believe, can hear him talking through there. So everything's fine with the audio on that end. It's just he cannot hear us. So that would be problematic.
So they can hear him in the on the radio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roderick's saying, let's start the show. Forget the imperfect audio. Well, the thing is, we can't really do much of the show if he can't hear our questions or we can't really respond. So, I mean, the biggest thing to do is just to see if he can get it worked out.
And he's the special guest, so it's kind of important to for us to be able to communicate. Yeah, so you guys could probably hear him, but he cannot hear us, so that's the issue there.
Yeah, it's got to be an audio. It's got to be an audio thing on his end. It might be just doing settings at the different things as far as the output on the audio.
Yeah.
I could try. Yeah. Sound for all three is good. Everyone's saying that. Yeah, but the thing is, he can't hear us. That's the thing. So the chat room's saying we can hear all three of you, but he can't hear us. That's a big problem.
Yeah.
GodRules needs to be able to hear us. And unfortunately, we're not able to do it. Let's see. Check audio settings. Oh, okay, you're just talking to him here.
Yeah, I'm just typing it here.
Yeah,
you may have already, but that's a good place to start.
So let's see who's in the YouTube chat tonight. We've got Tragic FE. How you doing? We got Daisy May talking about the Controversy 7 was awesome. It was a great show. I actually just talked with him yesterday, and it was pretty amazing. And just for people that understand, I know I got a couple emails after he was on. And people were talking about the Seventh-day Adventist Church. He's totally against the Seventh-day Adventist Church, just so you know. So there's an update because a lot of people were believing that he's a hardcore Seventh-day Adventist based on, his beliefs. But the Controversy 7 is not impressed whatsoever with the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I don't know if you heard the news, Pastor Nate, but the among other ones, evangelicals and the Seventh-day Adventists, but there was a big thing that happened 2 days ago where they signed with the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was really startling, especially for Seventh-day Adventists, because they've been very outspoken against the Catholic Church for a long time. Well, they just signed a thing and saying that we're all one now. There was a huge thing that went through, I think, just a couple of days ago. Well, I got talking with him, and I just wanted to find out where he was at, and he's like, yeah, he thinks it's really, really disgusting what's going on, is how everyone is just, lining up, saying that, we're all part of the Catholic Church. And that's exactly what this document was saying, which I'm sure...
That's the whole, the Catholic Church perceiving itself as the mother church, right? I mean, they're still trying to push that, so... Yeah,
so... I'm thinking, what we maybe could do is I'm going to try to call him one more time. And what I'm going to... If this doesn't work, maybe what I'll do is I will just maybe call him on the phone.
Yep. Just call him on the cell phone, and
Yeah, I'm going to call him on the
because
phone.
we actually can
and I'll
hear
put him on
audio
speakerphone.
pretty
I know.
well.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and
there's
Brian's
more.
asking, was he ever a Seventh-day Adventist? Yeah, I mean that's kind of his beginnings as far as with the SDA Church. Although he hasn't been going there for quite some time, so he's definitely not a hardcore Seventh-day Adventist. But the Controversy 7, Emmanuel, he's done some incredible work over the years. So has our guest tonight. If we can get him going here, it would be great. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably just going to give him a call because he's obviously experiencing problems. Let's see if we can just give him a call. And
Awesome.
this will work better if I can just put him on speakerphone, and because I would just hate to go the whole show where he's having problems. And let's see if we can do this. Audio, speaker.
Please stand by while we complete
All right. Can you hear that? Can you hear the audio?
This message, please
Yeah.
dial
Okay.
1 before a 10-digit long distance.
All right. So we're gonna call here and we're gonna find out. 1-800-GOD-RULES. Tragic FE says. That's his number. Give it a try. 1-800-GOD-RULES. I'll have to hold it up. This will be the first one that we've ever done like this, where I'm holding up the phone. He's probably like,
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach.
he's like, nope, I'm not answering that. Who is that? Let's see here.
Yeah.
Why don't we?
We'll get it eventually. Yeah, it's only 10 minutes into the show. We got 2 hours, so we'll work this out.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, just everyone get relaxed. It's going to be an amazing show. We'll get this figured out. Let's try him again here.
Get your favorite caffeinated beverage.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. This is the first. I'm not even sure last time that Tony has done an interview in quite some time.
Yeah.
But big props and thanks to Rob Baxter, Comcrash. He's in the chat right now. He was one that actually made the introduction for us. So
Nice.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But either there's a lot of stuff that Satan doesn't want to be said tonight. How you doing,
Could
Tony?
be.
Are you on with us?
Yeah, I can't get it to work. I don't know what's going on. I don't use this computer all the time, and I'm just using that one. Anyway, I used this like a month ago or something. It worked fine. I don't know what's going on.
Strange.
It's like, I think it's the wrong device or something. I don't know what's going on. I can't hear anything.
Okay, I'm going to try to
figure it out.
Yeah, I'm going to try to figure this out as far as like I have you on speakerphone right now through the mic. So we'll do it this way because obviously we're live. We want to continue it on. The only problem I think that we're going to have is Pastor Nate, because I've got headphones on and I don't think you're going to be able to hear him, unfortunately. So I might have to relay your questions, Nate, to him. But let's just start it off. Forget about all the technical issues. There's a lot of people here excited that you're on. Thank you so much for coming on to Celebrate Truth Radio. Really quick, for people that aren't aware, of who you are, maybe just explain a little bit about your testimony. How did you even get into YouTube? What about your upbringing? How did you even come to the faith?
Okay, well, actually, I wanted this. First, is it possible for us to just change phones? Because I'm on a phone that I can't really use downstairs.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
can
sure.
you give me a different phone number? I
Oh.
can text you a different phone number and we'll call that one.
Sure. Text me the number and I will call you right back.
Okay, that'll be better. Thanks.
Thanks, Tony. All right, so here we go. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting show, that's for sure.
Take three. Take three.
Take three.
Now we'll get it this time. We'll get it. I could even hear him, so I think we'll be okay.
Everyone, this is good stuff because good things come to those who wait. Right? The anticipation's building. We're doing a group call. Yeah, I'm actually calling on my phone and I'm putting on speakerphone. Only thing is that he won't be able to hear Pastor Nate. So I'm going to have to relay anything that Pastor Nate says. So hopefully we'll get him talking
he
a lot.
won't be able to hear me. Okay.
He won't be able to hear you because I have the headphones on.
No worries.
And the minute I put it onto the computer speakers, it's going to mess up the audio. It's just a mess, right? So
gotcha.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, at least I could hear him and I could hear you,
Okay.
so I'm good.
We got the number here, and we're going to call right now. We're going to get him on, and so just maybe short questions, not these big long. If you have any questions for him, you just butt in and say something, and I'll be able to relay it because he won't be able to hear you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're calling. It's like prank calls or something.
Hello.
How you doing, Tony?
Good. Sorry about all the problems here. I don't use this computer usually for this, so
It's all good.
It's not usually on
No worries.
very much, so as you can tell.
It's all good. It's all good. Like I said, just wanted to make sure we figured out something so we can kind of get the show moving forward. There's a lot of people really excited. I'm excited that you're on. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend a couple hours with us tonight. I mentioned before, if you could just give a little bit of an introduction. How did you, come to the faith? A little bit about your journey, and also how did you even get started on YouTube?
Okay, well, first, I grew up in Michigan, and actually I grew up sort of in the church, but I wasn't really a believer, you know what I mean? I was just kind of going through the motions, I guess you would say. But it was around the age of 14 that I became a Christian. I was actually, our youth group was like one of the worst youth groups, like in the whole area, I guess, because we went to this thing called Acquire the Fire. If you've ever heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were playing hooky. We were the ones that would get in trouble all the time. Our youth group. So we were like all outside the event, and we were like just playing hooky or whatever you want to call it. We were all on the bus and just screwing around, and I just felt like God was pulling on my heart, like some anchor was on my heart and was pulling me into the place. And that was when I first, had an encounter, I guess you would say, with God. So that was quite a while ago when I was 14, and then after that, just studying things, trying to figure out what the truth was, and early on it wasn't anything like what we're talking about here. Of course, I was just trying to figure out what the meaning of life was and stuff. Can you guys hear me okay or no?
Yeah, it's a little low, I guess, for the people that are listening in. So just have you on speakerphone. People are asking to be turned up. So I don't know if you want to speak a little louder, but it's pretty loud on
Maybe
mine.
I can. Let me try. Is that better?
A little bit better. Yep.
Okay. I don't know if the volume is for me or for you. I don't know if you can hear me better or not. But
That's a little better.
I just turned up the volume on this. So, for YouTube, I mean, that was quite a while later. I just, I grew up and I tried to figure out what the truth was, and I started doing a lot of studies in the Bible and just trying to, figure out what to do with life. And I would actually go out on the streets and preach too, actually, a long time ago.
Nice.
Back in high school and stuff. And, that was interesting. And so I was actually preaching on the streets, and I was like, well, it would be better just to get on the internet and talk to people, you know what I mean? Because that was around the time the internet started coming around. And so I used to argue with atheists on forums, like back in like 96, like way back in the old days.
Yeah, well.
There'd be atheist forums, and I'd actually argue with them and stuff while I was in college. I went to Michigan Tech to become a mechanical engineer, so that's what I was doing back then. And then I started my own website way back then, like in 96 to 98. And actually, it was around 1998 I started the GodRules.net website. So that's where the name God Rules comes from.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I made a big, huge website. Probably a lot of people even on my channel my subscribers probably don't even know about it hardly. It's like a Bible study website. It's got tons of commentaries, early church fathers, just everything, all these different types of books like that on it. So I came in through that, that's where I came in from. But
when did you start? When did you start the website?
that was in 1998. I started GodRules.net.
Okay.
And I worked on that for many years. While I was a mechanical engineer, I worked at a company called Navistar. They make semi-truck. And so whenever I wasn't at work, I was working on my website pretty much. And so I'd work like a lot, like it was like having two full-time jobs or something. I was doing that full-time on the side. And then eventually I started, going into business for myself, and I started selling on eBay and all that kind of stuff. And eventually I got to YouTube because I wanted to get my message out. I had some ideas on things that I thought were wrong with the church, and I wanted to tell people about it, kind of things I figured out. So I started my YouTube channel on that foot. I think it was in like 2010 when I started YouTube. So it's been 10 years, actually.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, a decade.
Long time.
Yeah, a full decade.
Yeah, so I wasn't doing a ton at first. I was just putting out videos on my own thoughts, doing research. And I didn't come in from the science angle, actually, because I used to, just believe everything that was told to me in that realm.
Sure.
NASA, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was like starting to question things, though, when I looked at the early church fathers and I started looking at some of these books that, like the Book of Enoch and stuff. I don't even think I got into the Book of Enoch back then, but I started noticing, like, just whenever I looked at the ancient languages, it didn't say what everybody said it said in the English, and on some verses, and I was like, this is something ain't right here, So, I started figuring things out, and actually that led me to the Apocrypha, and I started realizing the Apocrypha was scripture, and then from that I saw the Book of Enoch and all that stuff, and then from there I started getting into the other stuff that everybody else gets into, all the other conspiracy stuff, right? So I was actually into this stuff before that. I never got into the conspiracy stuff till after I was already in the Book of Enoch and all that stuff. So
I got you. So basically, when you say the other stuff, like maybe you can mention some other type of conspiracies you're talking about.
Oh, all the common ones,
like
who's running the world, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Getting anything from the Rothschilds to the Bilderbergs, and then I'm sure 9/11 for you was a pivotal point as well, as it was for many of us.
I'm pretty sure I believed it, like, at first.
I did too.
For so many years.
Yep.
I believed everything. I believed it at first. I believed what they were saying.
Yep.
I think it was, I can't remember what it was that made me start to doubt it. But I had a friend that was telling me it wasn't real early on, and I was just like, oh, you're wrong. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No.
You're crazy.
Yeah. That was the same for a lot of us, that's for sure. But at the beginning, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I think the majority of us, I don't really recall too many people that were speaking out against 9/11 when it first happened. It was years later, and I think it was a pivotal point, kind of like the different awakenings that have happened, at points in history. But you had mentioned, about NASA and stuff. Where actually do you stand on the whole thing? Like, what was it when, I mean, you probably remember in great detail, 2014, 2015, when this huge, topic came out of nowhere called Flat Earth. What did you think at first when you heard, these conspiracy theories talking about that the Earth wasn't a spinning ball?
Well, actually, at first, the first thing I saw was that concave Earth. You've heard of that, right?
Yep. Yes, I have.
And, of course, I didn't think too highly of the guy who sort of was spearheading the whole topic, the Stephen Christopher guy.
Correct.
I tried to avoid offending him, but he was just kind of a weird guy.
He's in prison. He's in prison right now. He's in prison. He's in prison.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, he's in prison right now. Yeah, we can talk about that another time. I believe a whole bunch. I mean, it's not really secret, but there's all sorts of different things. But I have heard through credible sources that he got caught in all sorts of different things, and he is in prison. But correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've heard. That's why he disappeared.
Okay, well, the last time I saw him, he was with some girl, and that was maybe a couple of years ago. I haven't even looked at his channel in forever.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I started with that, and I actually started, at first I was kind of making fun of it, I made a video sort of reviewing what the topic was, but then I started realizing that he was making some legitimate points in a few places, and I started doing more research of my own, and I started realizing there's things like the Gegenschein that didn't make sense, and, during solar eclipses, the Foucault pendulum changes angle slightly, things like that. And, of course, the rainbow requiring two polarizers, and only one is required. You need a raindrop. That's all you need. But if you go inside and you try to do a rainbow, you need two polarizers. You need a mirror and a raindrop.
Yeah.
So all that stuff I started realizing that, something isn't right. They're not telling us, obviously, the truth here. Something's not right. Then I looked into, all the other stuff, Michelson, Morley, Sagnac experiment, all that stuff. So, I looked into all that, and I started realizing, and I realized there's something wrong with the horizon as well. I knew there was some optical illusion factor going on with that too. I just didn't know. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I still don't exactly know what's going on with it. There's some stuff that I point out that I thought was really interesting that others don't point out too much.
Like what?
Well, I think one of the factors is like when you look at these light rays coming down at different angles. Like if you're looking out at a very large landscape, and let's just say it's like over a large body of water, you see these light rays diverging. You know, from your perspective, it appears like they're going at different angles depending on where the person's at. Like if I'm standing here looking at this huge body of water, over on the left, it appears that the light rays are coming in on a really rather strong angle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And but that person, let's say there's someone actually standing where you perceive the light rays are going. He doesn't see it as coming in on an angle. He would see it coming directly down on him. And say I'm also with the person over on the right, or left and right. From my vantage point, it looks like they're very divergent. But if I was standing in those two positions, looking up at the sun would be relatively in the same spot of the sky.
Correct.
So that to me made me realize there's some optical illusion going on here that we're not really aware of. And I think it has something to do with light bending, and it distorts our perception. But that's just my theory. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that. And I understand some of the flat earth arguments with like perspective, with like when you zoom in on stuff, which I actually agree with a lot of that, because I think they're dead on with a lot of that stuff with zooming in and something reappears that went allegedly over the horizon and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm all on board with that, but I really think there's something else going on too. I think there's something going on with light bending or something. I don't know what it is. But
yeah,
something isn't right.
It's a mystery, that's for sure. I don't think anyone can conclusively say they know 100% what truly is going on or what true, shape it is, right? I think the big consensus is that we sincerely doubt what we've been taught, being on a spinning ball flying through space, billions of light years, these stars, like everything, and you as a Bible believer, you can kind of look at the fact of like everything that we've been taught is complete polar opposite to what the Bible teaches if you were going to take it from a literal perspective, right? If you're going to take these things literally.
Yeah, but I used to make the arguments from the globe model with the Bible. You can actually
I did too.
It's sort of, but I mean, I agree with you. It's probably easier to argue from, the standpoint of a fixed earth and stuff. I think it's easier to argue.
Yeah, well, I think when it comes to forget the shape, let's just go to the fact, does the earth even move? I think, conclusively over and over in the Bible, it's really...
That one's a good, that is the stronger, I think, ignoring the shape, I think the fact that the Bible sort of makes the impression that it's a fixed place.
Yeah.
It's a fixed thing.
Sure.
It's a fixed, and with the sun going down and up, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue from heliocentrism, anything like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. The shape, I have various theories. I don't think it's literally flat, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But I have a lot of strange things have come to recently. Like, I was thinking that we're in some sort of simulation, or someone's messing with the stars. One of the two. I don't know which one it is, because some of the stars have a retrograde. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Okay, but it's not all of them. It's just a few.
Just a few,
right?
Yeah.
But it talks in the Bible about the fact that the stars are, somehow are connected to angels. So
Correct.
I don't know if it's literally the case or not, but if it is the case, it does say, I think, in Enoch about the angels changing the courses of the stars or something. Maybe
we're talking about the wandering. I think, the wandering stars. You're familiar with what the wandering stars are now, the planets, right?
Right. So that sort of made me wonder, because I was thinking, like, either we're in a like if you imagine a video game, like in a video game. Like, if I'm in a video game that's pretending to be 3D, it's really not 3D. It just appears to be 3D, right?
Yeah.
So, if we're in a simulation, it appears like we're on a spinning ball if you look at some things, but it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, where it's like a manufactured thing, because then there's little holes. Like, you notice, the Gegenschein don't make sense. Oh, this doesn't make sense.
Sure.
So it makes me think it could either be like a simulation that appears like it's heliocentrism, but it's not. It could be literally a flat plane. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or we're literally in this world, and it is like, let's just say a fixed plane or fixed whatever, and they're just messing with the stars and trying to make it appear to be heliocentric. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know which one it is, but I mean, of course, either way, you know, a secularist would be like, "Oh, you're crazy." But I mean, the simulation one, you could actually make an argument to an atheist or someone who believes in NASA, because they make that argument themselves. I mean, you got, what's his name, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I have videos with him. You know, you have Elon Musk talking about we're in a simulation.
Elon Musk, yeah, that's why I have red flags.
We're in a simulation.
That's why I get red
You know what I mean?
flags. Yeah, that's why I get red flags when all of a sudden the whole world applauds, you know, Elon Musk for saying that we're in a simulation. But yet, if someone dare even questions heliocentrism, oh, that's stupid. You know what I mean? Like anything goes in this world. Like we're in a simulation, yay, everyone applauds. But if you say, oh, I kind of think we might be geocentric, boo, boo, stupid, ignorant, idiot. You know what I mean? Like it's just funny how like the world applauds certain theories, because again, it is a theory. And yet it looks like the world is moving more towards that as a viable option. Even scientifically, they're saying, you know, oh, yeah, simulation makes sense. You know what I mean? Which is really surprising.
Well, what if it's a simulation made to look like heliocentrism, but it's not? You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it's like you're in a plane, or you're in a whatever this is, fixed thing, and it's just appearing like it's heliocentric. And you could actually, I guess, make an argument and maybe convince some of them from that, because they believe in simulations already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that's I mean, for some that might be a good way to try to spin it,
Sure.
spin it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to get them on board or something, but
Yeah. No, and I didn't want to put you on the spot.
It could be a stepping stone too. It could be a stepping stone
I had
halfway.
I had a feeling where you were standing. I didn't want to make this show about getting into that topic of all things. I didn't really know where you stood, but it's cool that you question it. You've done some videos on it. Obviously, myself and Pastor Nate were, our channels are known, primarily for that, or they have, when I started in 2015, I started doing stuff interesting enough on the stars. My first video ever was, on the stars, but from there I did a lot of documentaries on enclosed cosmology. I'm not doing so much of it anymore, but again, that was, a big focal point for the last 4 years, especially in my YouTube journey. But I didn't want to make this show all about that topic. I wanted to get into just all the amazing work that you've done over the years. You've covered such a vast amount of topics. We can talk about so many different areas. I mean, just I think you're putting out, like, on average, 2 to 3 videos per day.
Well, that's what I have to do now. I mean, I like doing it, but it's a lot of work. And mainly it's a lot of work because YouTube makes it a lot of work, because they don't like us, I mean, they make it so it's very difficult to survive on the platform the way that it is now, because they just basically hate our guts, pretty much.
Yeah, it's getting worse. It's getting worse for sure. Maybe you can talk a little bit about the censorship. Obviously, you're getting close to 300.
Well, I figured out some ways around stuff, but what they did was, I mean, you might have noticed my channel before. I used to get like 500,000 views on every video.
Yeah. I was sorry to interrupt, but I was actually just talking with the Controversy 7. Apparently, I guess you subscribe to him as well. But anyways, he's another, large YouTuber. He's got, I think, close to 300. You're about 350,000. You're closing in on 350,000 subscribers. So because
losing, actually, I'm losing. I actually was at about a 350, and I've lost like 8,000.
Dude, I can't even go up. I can't even go up 100 subscribers in the last 4 months. I used to do like almost 800 subscribers a day. In my peak, in 15 and 16, I rapidly climbed, and then all of a sudden you notice this huge drop. But yeah, I'm losing them for sure. I mean, it's the funniest thing. I'm stalemating at this figure, and it's funny. I cannot go up, even 100 subscribers.
Well, there's a reason why. If you look at your analytics, what they're doing is they're making it so that no non-subscribers can see your videos. So I only have like 5% non-subscribers seeing my videos now. Before it was like 90%.
Correct.
Now it's 5%.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think everyone's been, affected. They have their algorithms in place. Anyone that's of the conspiratorial truther type brand, I think they got flagged. You know what I mean? And it makes it...
I think it was mainly because I talked against NASA and stuff that they did it to me. I really do think it was that. Yeah, well, I had a video on Antarctica where I was talking about, things related to that, and that video got flagged for hate speech. And after that, that's when my channel started getting hit with basically losing subs and no views and all that.
You're still monetized though, correct? Are you monetized, or you've been demonetized?
Yeah, I'm monetized, and actually I get really good ads because I figured out how to get around all their BS. Pretty much.
Okay. My channel's been
it's
demonetized.
Tricky. It's really hard. It's really hard. You got to like jump through a bunch of hoops.
Yeah.
To do it.
I got to the point where I got demonetized, and then I got approved again, and then I got demonetized again, and I'm just like, you know what? Forget it. I don't even care. You know what I mean? Like I would care at a certain point, but now I'm just like, you know what? It's just so much work trying to do this, and then next year they're going to do something else, and it's on borrowed time. Are you on any other platforms like DLive or BitChute or?
I'm on, I have automated videos going over on BitChute.
Okay.
And I tried to put some up on my own website, but I ended up deleting a bunch of my videos trying to fix my channel, and now I'm actually re-uploading all my old videos I deleted.
I know, I did the same thing. I started deleting them, and I'm like, darn it, why did I do that? Now I'm all disappointed that I started trying to appease YouTube, but I had one in particular.
I was just trying to fix my channel. Like, I know it's an algorithm thing, but really what I think it ended up becoming is that you and I probably got marked in, like they put like a manual review type of thing.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
they did manually review me. Yeah, they did. They absolutely did. I got a message, and I mean, being at the level you're at, you can have. I don't know if you've actually spoken with them. I mean, you have you can chat with them pretty much any time. I think it's over 100,000 subs. So I used to chat with them all the time.
I don't talk to them.
Oh, I used to.
I took a different approach. I used to sell on eBay, and it sounds kind of weird, but I'd figure out ways around eBay's system, and that's what I do with YouTube.
Gotcha.
I don't even talk to them. I don't send any videos for review to them, nothing.
Sure.
I don't want, because I don't trust them. I think that if they see my video, and if it's like some blue-haired chick, whatever, he might oh, I hate your guts, your channel's demonetized.
Yeah.
So I personally wish they just don't even see my channel, and if I can get around all the systems, great.
Yeah, I noticed that you're doing a lot of the titling. I remember talking to the Controversy 7, and he got, wise to the idea of like making sure that in your titles you don't have, a lot of keywords. You know what I mean? Certain keywords that might trigger the demonetizing bots.
Well, there's certain keywords. There's also, I use Greek letters on words that are negative or bad.
Yeah.
You might have noticed. I don't know if you noticed.
I have seen that. Yes.
Yeah. But I have a huge list of words that are good and bad, and I just use the good words to get the ads, and then the bad words I just block out. Yeah,
you're at a point now, right? I mean, you get to a certain point where you can just be like, the most interesting video you'll ever see, and again, it won't matter. When you're first starting YouTube, you're really hitting all these target words. You know what I mean? You're really trying to put all these keywords in there. But I think at a certain level, and you see this with a lot of YouTubers, they can just put in anything. I mean, you literally could put ... and you'd probably get 10,000 views. It's unfortunate though, because, 2 years ago, a video that you put out, would go to, over 100,000. Have you noticed how hard it is now for your videos to get over to 100,000?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to get 500,000 on every video, or a million, or whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'm lucky if I can get 10 to 30,000.
Yeah, I've seen that with big YouTubers. I've seen that with a lot of people that I've talked to. I mean, for sure, that's definitely going on. And like you mentioned, nobody that's not a subscriber is seeing your content. You know what I mean? It's all your subs. It's all your sharing. I mean, that's why it's good that your subs are sharing or they're posting on social media, because without that, they're not showing up in the recommended videos anymore.
Yeah.
Right, but there's a way around it. I'm actually working on something right now, but it's not. I've already given up on the idea of getting GodRules to go the right way. Sort of. I mean, I think maybe eventually it might start taking off again if they decide to alleviate or whatever.
Sure.
I don't know if they'll change their mind. Maybe if our president gets back in again, they'll be like, oh, maybe we should, I don't know. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe they'll get even crazier. We don't know what will happen, right? So
no more videos. No more videos against NASA. It's that's one of those things. So speaking of which,
there's a lot of topics they don't like, man. They don't even like this new strain that's going around. I've been talking about that a lot. So.
Yeah. Are we talking about
the virus? You know what I mean?
Are we talking about the beer virus?
Yeah, the beer virus.
Well, I'm just wondering why we're being so coy here. We're not mentioning the actual name. Are we actually going to get flagged if we mention Corona?
I've literally never said the name one time on video because I already know if I do, it's going to screw me. So.
Okay, well, I want to see if it screws me because, well, first of all, I don't think it will. I'm demonetized already. But anyway, we are talking about coronavirus, just for the people out there that are interested. I mean, it's on my channel, so, maybe you don't want to mirror this on your channel.
I talk about it all the time now. So, yeah, that's the big thing.
So what's your view on that? What's your view on that? I was actually talking to someone the other day and I had some interesting theories theories on that. Like what exactly is your view? Because like for me, the one thing that I'm kind of intrigued with, it's not massive pandemic. It's not like, on the night news all the time. To me, it's kind of more subtle. It's almost like if something was serious, they would really, play it down. And to tell you the truth, and trust me, I'm one of those guys, hardcore conspiracy guy, but I'm looking at it like, wait a minute, I'm not seeing a lot of the markers where they're like, oh my goodness, everyone get your shots, line up, freak out. There's a bit of panic, but they've really tried to really minimize this one, in my opinion. But maybe, you have a different opinion on what you're seeing with the coronavirus.
I don't know. I'm starting to formulate this idea that these super spreaders are the ones that are the ones that get it kicked off in a new country. That's what we're seeing with South Korea right now, and Japan. I think Japan has like 1,000 people that have it right now, and Korea in like one day got 200 people. It went from in a day and a half, it went from one person to like 200 because of a super spreader who was part of a weird end of the world cult. And that's who it was. It was actually a person who's part of a strange cult. They think their leader's immortal. He thinks he's better than, I don't know something about he's more correct than Jesus. I can't remember what it was. It was some weird, it's a weird cult in South Korea. And it was a person from that. And their cult, they all congregate really close together. And they have this idea that if you ever get sick, it's a sin. So they believe they're not sick. So that if they are sick, they'll just go and pretend they're not sick and then just get everybody else sick. So, but I mean, the whole thing is, I think it's downplayed what's happening in China. I think there's actually hundreds of thousands that have it. They sent a bunch of these incinerators over to Wuhan, 40 of them, because they're trying to get rid of all these bodies.
So do you believe, sorry to interject, but so do you believe that it's real?
Oh, I think it's real.
Yeah.
I think it's actually, Bill Gates, there's a lot of stuff, man. Bill Gates actually, he made a new show called Pandemic for Netflix, and it came out literally the same time this coronavirus came out. Mm-hmm. And strangely, he was putting money into something related to coronavirus. I did a video on this like 2 weeks ago, and he put out like a warning a year ago saying, oh, there could be something like SARS or something that could go out and infect 30% of the population, and we could have 30 million people die or something like that. And strangely, this one seems to have that kind of idea to it, because at least in China, it's doing that right now. Yeah. And I kind of get this feeling like it's contained, sort of, but like at the same time, whenever these little super spreaders get out, it just like blows up and things go wrong. Like what we saw at the cruise ship. There's something really weird about that. Yeah. Because a quarter of them ended up getting it. Correct. A quarter of the people on that cruise ship. And while they're all locked in their own cabins, not moving, somehow it gets through the ventilation. So this thing really is mysterious. It like somehow is able to pass really easily, but at the same time, it's just really strange. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like this is going to go global eventually. I really do. It just seems weird to me.
So you think it's kind of a build-up of something that's coming that's going to be a lot
major?
Yeah,
I think in a couple months it's going to be over here and really big or something.
Yeah, well, there's a few cases.
Like in our houses or something.
There's already a few cases. I mean, in my country, I'm in Canada, but also I've heard there's a few cases in the States. Nothing major, but a few. People that were actually.
Yeah, there's 5,000 people on a what do you call it? Like deliberate, whatever. Lock up in their house for 14 days. They don't know if they have it or not. You know what I mean? It's one of those type of things. But the thing is, it seems like with the Asian countries, it really spreads well. Like in Japan and South Korea right now, it's spreading very fast.
Which is strange too, because I don't know if you've ever been to Asia, but they all, like a lot of them have masks on. I mean, their whole culture, they usually do that. You know what I mean? So they'd be even more protected than, say, like North America getting it,
Yeah, it's really strange because it seems to spread really well with the Asians. I don't know if it's maybe because it just started in China, or if it's more than that, or what's going on with all that. But it is mysterious. I agree with you. It's very elusive. Yeah. And people can get it a second time and die from a heart attack. There's a lot of weird stuff with this thing.
It's almost like they don't want people to panic. They're mentioning that it's out there, but in times past I've seen these things like SARS. I mean, SARS, everyone was going crazy. You know what I mean? We're all gonna die. Like freaking out. With this one, it's almost, there's a subtleness to it that's kind of eerie. That they're like, they don't want that panic. So when I see a lot of these truthers saying it's all fake, it's all nonsense. They're just trying to scare you. I'm like,
are there a lot of people saying it's fake?
Lots. There's lots. Yeah. There's lots. I mean,
Really?
we can get into some, and again, as a truther, I always sit there and say, not everything is a conspiracy, but oh yeah, there's a ton of people out there that are saying this thing is all manufactured. It's fake. They're just wanting people to, get in line, just like before. It's just fake.
Well, I
it's a
do
hoax.
think that they're going to try to get mandatory vaccinations eventually off it, but I don't think it's fake.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it's real, but I mean, it's mysterious, though. I would agree with you.
They're definitely controlling the narrative on it. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
The way it's spreading, I really think it's a bioweapon of some sort. I don't know if you want me to say all these words on your channel. I
don't mind. No, I don't mind. Honestly, I don't really mind. I mean, obviously I always sit there and say, like, usually, we're on Revolution Radio, there's non-censorship because we're on YouTube, but really with this kind of stuff, if we can't even talk about this stuff, we're just saying our opinion. There's no hate crimes. You know what I mean? I don't like to touch into some areas where it could be perceived as hateful. So I kind of tread a little lightly on that, even though I will talk about topics like this. But this, honestly, like, really, if you're going to come down because we can't have a conversation and go, what's going on? We're just saying we don't know.
Right.
I mean, this whole conversation, we haven't conclusively.
Ask him, Robbie, if he thinks that 5G has
my
any
wife is Asian,
effects.
So it's not because I think anything weird about Asians. My wife's actually Asian.
Oh, okay. Oh, very cool. Yeah, I did.
So everybody knows that, you know what I mean?
Sorry, Pastor Nate had a question. Sorry, what was that, Pastor Nate?
Yeah, I was ask him if he thinks that the 5G has anything to do with it, because someone in the chat, Timothy in the chat, asked about that.
Do you think that 5G has anything to do with it? That's a question that was asked, I guess, in the chat room, and Nate wanted to see.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been wondering that too. I don't know actually at this point, because does China have 5G set up yet? I know they've got the cameras all set up.
They're the ones that are pretty much the ones that are helping to implement it in other countries. Like, they're the ones that have the technology. Pretty much China is on top of the whole 5G thing.
So they have 5G. I guess theoretically, that could be something there, because it's spreading like crazy there. And I really don't believe their numbers. I think there's like at least 50,000 dead.
Yeah. I'm always suspicious because there's a lot of rhetoric against China right now. They're cutting off Huawei or whatever, that phone manufacturer. Like, the U.S. is like kind of somewhat at war, and then all of a sudden China's the big bad, Wolf. They always have to have some enemy in the world, right? And it seems like,
because it does seem weird how it's spreading so crazy there, but not anywhere else.
No, I know.
Other than,
Yeah.
But at the same time, I guess, if you have a bioweapon lab right in the middle of a ton of people, and they had a 100,000 people banquet right after this thing was released. They literally had 100,000 people. They're all eating from the same plate. I don't know how you even pull that off in the first place, but they did that. So maybe that's why it spread so quickly, is because, let's go have 100,000 people banquet and eat all from the same plates while there's a virus out. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's why, or if it could be. 5G could have something to do it. I don't know. I think 5G is really terrible. I'll tell you that. I've done videos on that.
Yeah. Well, it looks to me like it's unstoppable.
Somebody in the chat said that China turned theirs on November.
And that at least will give you some protection from that stuff. 4G is bad enough with their towers. 5G is going to be insane.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it.
Everybody's going to have cancer after 10 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
it seems like it's going that way. So one sec, Nate,
someone said that the Fullerton Informer reported that 5G was turned on in China in November.
5G was turned on in November, apparently, in China. So that's what someone was saying in chat. Yeah.
Theoretically, I guess there's something to that. I didn't even think about that, but I guess so.
That's pretty scary.
I know that they have their cameras. They have 175 million cameras, and they're creating another 400 million to put up. They got their artificial intelligence.
I know, it's insane.
They know who every person is just by walking by. They know who it is and stuff, and they have a credit score on everybody there.
It's insane.
It's total new world order, like what they want to bring over here.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Yeah, it's pretty scary to watch what's going on there. But speaking of which, you talk a lot, and I think, a lot of your passion is with end times. Would you say it kind of sums up, do a lot of end times?
Pretty much most of what I talk about lately,
So maybe you could talk a little bit about that. We're here in 2020. Maybe just kind of give us some things that have come.
Oh, yeah. There's a guy named... I just found this video. You've heard of Henry Groover, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That one's really interesting. There's actually another guy who had a very similar vision or prediction that he had. Henry Groover, he's a guy. He's been on YouTube. I think he's been over on. I can't remember the guy's channel. He's been on YouTube. You can go look him up. But the guy had this vision back in like the 80s of what's going to happen to America, and essentially, eventually, in the future, we're going to have Russia and China together come and attack America, essentially on both borders. Now, what was interesting is that another guy had almost the exact same vision as this guy did. I think the guy's name is Dimitri or something. I can't remember his name. It's kind of a weird name, but I just found out about the other day. And he was saying, and literally saying the exact same stuff, except for he only had some other details. He mentioned that a lot of America will become communist before this happens. And you notice, who's the primary candidate on the left right now? It's Bernie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's a socialist, by the way. A lot of the younger generation loves socialism and communism. So you can see maybe in like 10, 20 years, you're going to have a lot of communists in America, people that are fully into communism. And this is about the time that they attack. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that, it seems a little strange. Maybe after Trump gets in another 4 years, this could happen. Who knows? But the whole idea is they take out all the telecommunications. It's like an EMP over America, or however they do it. From what I understand, it's subs. They bring in these subs, nuclear subs, and they let off some EMPs that cut all the telecommunications and internet and everything, and then they start nuking certain cities, select cities. Both of them have the exact same vision of what happens. And this could have something to do with the Gog-Magog, too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might, actually. Because Israel also would, they're going to be attacked by Russia as well. So, and then there's another guy, I've been talking about it as well, who also had visions. I think his name is Ken Peters, if I recall. And he talks about stuff that sounds very similar. He talks about an EMP going off over America as well. And then he goes into and talks about the Antichrist coming and like literally the end times and how the mark of the beast is and all that. And I've been sort of finding these visions and stuff and how they all seem to correlate quite well together, and doing videos on that and trying to figure out what the time frame is for that, you know what I mean? Considering what's going on in America. Obviously we're going down a slippery slope.
Sure.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Look at what's going on, man.
So what do you think is going to happen here for 2020? And again, this is not like a
Trump
prophecy.
Is gonna win.
Why do you think Trump's going to win?
Because Bernie he's not popular. There's not enough people that are into socialism.
Gotcha.
To vote him in.
Gotcha.
And I don't think he's going to get any independent. And I could be wrong. Maybe someone else will pop up.
Oh no, it's just your opinion. It's just your opinion. I'm not going to hold you to it. I'm just curious. I always ask people.
Yeah, I'm just thinking at this point, president is very popular, and he's sort of, he has a good draw, and he seems to be more common sense than some of these guys on the left. They have some really strange ideas, like they're trying to pander to some extremer, sort of out there elements.
Yeah, it's getting extreme, that's for sure. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you one thing. The left.
What is it, like pregnancy kits for, what I mean, for guys and stuff?
It's ridiculous.
Whatever they're talking about, just really silly stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's pretty ridiculous how crazy it's getting. Some of the headlines and some of the beliefs, it's unbelievable. I can't even believe it. Can
you imagine 20 years ago this happening?
No.
I can't even imagine.
No. I've explained to people before. I understood kind of the homosexual agenda, and I understood the progression of sexual, depravity. But what I could not see, and this I told people exactly, because I was big into end times, and I said this is what's going to happen over the next 20-year span. The one thing I could not conceive of, I don't think anyone would have had a clue on, was this whole gender thing. Who in their right mind would ever figure that people would actually be questioning their own gender, and that the entire society would applaud them and say, yep, if you believe that you're a woman, then you're a woman, even if you were born a man. That to me is such insanity.
It does prove what they've said. I saw this book, I think it was written by Ann Coulter. It says something like, something's a mental disorder, if you know what I'm talking about.
Sure. No, I understand. No, it's a real
now
deal.
I'm actually in agreement. I'm like, yeah, maybe you're right. Actually.
Well, it's called gender dysphoria. Point, It's called gender dysphoria, and it's a real problem, right? We should actually be giving them help, not applauding them and making it worse. You know what I mean? So I
think part of it is they find something that is has a grain of, I don't know if I'd say legitimacy, but there's a grain of something there. You're like, okay, look, there are people that seem to have an issue in this area. There is a very small percentage of 0.0 whatever. They have this problem in this area, but then they take that and they exploit that problem, and they're like, oh, but then you shouldn't question them, and you should take their, you know what I mean? It's like they take this, they make a mountain out of a molehill, you know, and they do that with a lot of topics. It seems like, you know, and then they go crazy with it, and you're just like, what are you doing?
It's a serious thing, though. That's for sure. I mean, the attack on the family unit, you know, the attack on churches.
It's like they're using it. It's like a tool. It's like they turn it into a weapon. And
it's a weapon. It's a weapon. I mean, you know, it's a weapon when like literally less than 2% of the population have the power to change washrooms.
People have a problem. We should be helping them. And I'm not saying, you know, they need to go to some sort of therapy, conversion therapy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, look, you know, there's something wrong here. You know, instead of trying to help these people, you're like trying to use them to like destroy things, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right?
I don't know if you want me to talk about this.
Well, no, I mean, it's fine. I brought it up. And I mean, I'm saying that when it comes down to this, it's a real serious issue because, again, you're looking at a population, and I agree, this is a spiritual in nature. So I'm not saying that anyone should hate anyone in the LGBT community, right? We have to love on them, right? But when I'm talking about the agenda itself, you know, and when it's set out to do what it's doing, there's some very dangerous things that are happening, you know, in our society. Just look at even Hollywood. I mean, when I studied the homosexual movement way back, I mean, I don't know if you've ever looked into the works of Harry Hay, you know, in the 70s, but he talked about exactly how they were actually going to take over society. And what's crazy about that book is we are seeing everything. We are seeing everything that was set out.
He was a communist too, wasn't he?
He was, but the thing is, he talked about how the family was public enemy number one, the family unit, and then church was number two. But he also said, look, we don't just become actors. We become the directors and producers in Hollywood, right?
But I feel like that is like, you know, it's more like, it's not like we're talking about a person who really legitimately like is questioning stuff, you know, like, oh, am I
oh, sorry, yes, sorry. I'm talking about two different things here. Yeah, sorry. Actually, we're
No, what I'm saying is, like, what I'm trying to get at is, like, these people, they seem to be, like, just using this topic to, like, get things done. Not like they really are genuinely, like, I want to help.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. We're just going to a quick break.
Family,
Tony, we're going to a break now. We're going to be right back here. Okay. Don't go anywhere. You can just mute your mics. We've got about a quick 2-minute break, and we're going to be right back with Tony, God Rules, YouTuber extraordinaire, talking about the end times and so much more right after these messages. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back right after these messages. If you're on YouTube right now, you're not going to be hearing, you're actually going to be hearing me on the radio show. It's commercials right now, so I thought I would just interject real quick. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Make sure that you like and subscribe. It's going to be awesome here in hour 2 with God Rules. This is the first for Celebrate Truth Radio. Celebrate Truth Radio. We'll be back right after these messages. If you have any questions for Tony from God Rules, please post them in the chat. We'll see if we can get to them here in hour 2, right after a few commercials. Revolution Radio, please support them. This is a listener-supported radio show. Really appreciate your support. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. We've got close to 160 people live right now. We got so many great people in. It's good to see all of you. It's so much fun. We're having a good time tonight, and we're going to be live here. Coming back with God Rules here in 30 seconds. Welcome back to Celebrate Truth Radio. This is hour 2. Our special guest tonight is God Rules, Tony, and we have him on phone via iPhone here tonight. We're at hour 2. We were talking about so many incredible topics. We're going to be getting into so much more here in hour 2, so thank you for joining. And right before the break, we were getting into just certain agendas that were put in place. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about the end times and what you see happening here in the next 5 to 10 years.
Oh, next 5-10 years. Well, it's kind of curious because there's a lot of different things. Have you ever heard of Mark Taylor?
It rings a bell.
Like the Trump,
yeah, it rings a bell. Yeah.
Trump prophecy, all that. He prophesied that Trump would be president, things like that. Heard of that?
It rings a bell. The name rings a bell. I'm not too sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're talking about how America is yet to turn around, and there's some are always, there's different kinds of viewpoints out there. Some are like very negative viewpoints, and some are more positive. And he's the one who predicted that Trump would be president, obviously. And he talks about how that, you've probably noticed that he's appointed a lot of judges.
Yes.
He's actually, just recently, there's an article that came out today, how the Ninth Circuit Court is actually going to be flipped into a more conservative court now, which is almost unbelievable considering what it was before. And that's in California. Wow. So, I mean, he just recently turned it Republican or conservative or whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And it used to be called the Ninth Circus. I mean, that's how I don't know if you ever heard of Rush Limbaugh. He would call it the Ninth Circus. Because they were a circus. They would just come up with ridiculous judgments every time. Mm-hmm. So that what he talks about is that allegedly, eventually, a lot of these corrupt people are going to get exposed, and America will have like some sort of good positive run. I don't know if this will happen, you know what I mean, or how much it will happen. Maybe it will be in the next 4 years. I don't know. I hope so. It would be great to see America turn around, but eventually America's going to go and succumb to the evil, as you can see with like a lot of this younger generation is really into communism and stuff. So I'm kind of like mixed on it. I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Okay. I'm hoping for the best. But I think within the next 20 years, we're going to see some serious stuff happening. So
overall, you're a pretty optimistic truther. Like,
yeah, I'm a little bit different. I don't look at the world as being completely controlled either. There's a number of truthers out there that think literally we're like on a stage and everything's controlled. Sure. There's nothing that we can do. We're all screwed, kind of idea. And I don't think that there's just one power literally controlling everything. I think there's competing powers, and I think some of these competing powers are more evil than others, mm-hmm. I guess, is the way I look at it, sort of. Mm-hmm. And I think, you could see kind of which one's the more evil one. It's pretty obvious. If you look at Hillary, goodness gracious, she's obviously on the more evil side. So, I think there are less evil sides out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think the fact that we're seeing things happen and people trying to get rid of the president makes me think that there's more than one power at play here. Why would they just pretend to fight with themselves? It just seems dumb.
Yeah.
If you're in control of everything, why don't you just put us all in concentration camps and get it over with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would you play this game like, let's pretend there's a good and evil, and just that's how I look at it.
Yeah.
That's my theory. I could be wrong, but
sure, but it's refreshing.
Have you ever heard of Russian?
Oh yeah, we've had him on the show. Yeah, RD well.
I used to follow him, and he always finds really interesting stuff, but I don't think it proves that there's just one power and control, and that this is all a stage.
Sure.
I think it does prove there's evil people, and I think there's a devil behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Putting his symbols everywhere and trying to control stuff. I agree with that. But,
sure. But not everything. But not everything. Every single symbol, every single person.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think Trump would have got in if everything was controlled like they wanted,
Yeah.
I just don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, why would they nonstop hate his guts? I mean, I don't think he's
Oh, I bring this up. I bring this up all the time. And I mean, like, truthers are not that big a percentage. They don't have to do this big elaborate, hoax thinking that, we hate Trump, but secretly we love him. And we're doing this all because this is the big illusion. Like, I mean, I think people get a little too crazy sometimes with their conspiracy theories. I agree with you. You know what? Yeah. It's the only time ever in the history of the world that the Pope has openly spoke out against a president. Okay, why is the Pope speaking out against him? Why is the Queen, snubbing her nose at him? This is the royal family, and people say, oh, it's all part of the illusion. I'm sorry, man, but like when someone comes along and spits at all the mainstream media, and we all our truthers, we were always against mainstream media. Then you get a president that says, mainstream media, is toxic, and we're like, oh, boo, it's all he's liar, he's just saying that. So I think that when Trump's long gone, I think people are gonna look back and go, wait a minute, I miss him. These ones that are really outspoken on saying he's so evil.
Especially if we get like a Bernie.
Well, yeah. Would you rather a Hillary or a Trump? Even if you think both are evil, okay, let's just go with that route. What would you rather in, a Hillary or a Trump? If both were evil, I would take Trump.
I can't even imagine what we would be right now if Hillary got in.
Oh, it'd be horrible. And you know what? And the thing is that some people have these delusions that they think that, we're always going to be Republican now. I'm telling you, it's going to swing. It always swings back, right? We are going to get, a liberal president. Not. I agree with you. I don't think that they're going to win here in the next 4 years. I think Trump's going to take it again. But when Trump's done his next 4 years, I guarantee you that it's going to swing back because it always does this stuff, right?
And that's my concern right there. That's when I think it's going to go all to hell right there.
Oh, I think it's going to be horrifying. I mean, it's really, they're going to try to undo everything that, Trump.
And I think Russia, a lot of people don't understand. I think Russia actually, that guy, if Putin understands the family thing, he's really against all the stuff that's going on currently in America. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but I look at him as he's more common sense, and I think he understands if America falls to communism, it's going to be hell.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it would make sense that if America is falling to communism, he would go in and try to take us out because he talks all the time about the fact that they moved away from that, and that was a bad time of Russia.
Yeah.
So he would, you know what I'm saying? If it really is.
Putin's smart. Have you ever heard Putin? Have you actually watched clips of Putin speaking? Like he is a smart dude, man. Like you listen to him and you're like, that guy's sharp. Like he's a sharp guy.
Yeah, he's very smart. I think he understands the value of the family. He knows it just from the statistics for his own nation, and he understands that if the family breaks down, your nation breaks down. He understands all that.
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does. I've heard him, and I've been surprised a few times.
Unlike a lot of people in our country right now.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, Like, and then the latest thing, I don't know. I'm sure because you're on top of everything. The latest. This is the latest one, and I'm actually intrigued with it. Let's just bring it up because it's so recent. What about the 9-year-old that everyone's saying is an 18-year-old? I forget his name. Quentin. Like, do you know who I'm talking about?
I saw a headline for that. What is that all about? I recently.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't get into it then. If you're brand new into it, you got to look into it.
Guy? Is he like a midget guy or something?
I don't know, man. Because I'll tell you one thing.
He's a little person.
He's a little dwarf. Yeah, he has dwarfism. He's got like a condition. Now, the conspiracy theories are going crazy, and a lot of these truthers are saying it's all a lie. He's really 18 years old. He's milking everyone for this money. And what I'm saying is, not everything's.
There's a guy that's not even a conspiracy theorist that's following.
I know.
You've heard of the quartering? He's talking about it.
I know, but you actually follow that story. If you actually follow that story and look into it and look at the history of that mother and all the pictures of, she's in the hospital when he was 5 because he was in there for surgery. She's in there, at 3. All I'm saying is he just now was in some he was in Australia, and I think the rugby league just had him come out. And I'm saying it'll be an interesting thing to see. Here's the thing. What would be the purpose of it being all one big scam? I guess we're going to find out, but I'm calling it right now on this show. I do not believe it's a scam. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I'm calling it right now. I believe that he is not 18. He's not scamming anyone, and I guess we'll find out. I guess the truth will come out here in time.
Does he have a condition where...
He does.
There is a condition out there where you can actually look like you're aged and be young.
Yes. And I'm telling you right now, I looked into it just briefly because I'm sometimes tired sometimes where everyone's pointing their fingers and saying, hoax, false, everything. You could walk down the street, you could see someone walking down the street and people are at the point now where that's fake. That's CGI. You're not seeing that, you know? So it's at a point where I just briefly looked into it and I'm like, I'm calling it right now. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm going to say it on this show. I do not believe that it's one big hoax. I believe that it's genuine.
I don't know enough about it. So
I know. I'm not going to get into it. It's big news. It's big news right now.
I just saw the picture of them.
Yeah, it's big news right now. It's huge news. There's lots of truth.
Russian Vids has a
Russian
video.
Vids just did a video on him and all that. Anyways, RV has been on our show before. We disagree with certain points. Like I probably disagree with you. That's cool though. Like RVL says, you know, take the good, throw out the bad. You know, like doesn't mean you have to throw someone out just because you disagree with them.
I'm good with any of that. I liked watching him simply because I wanted to hear other perspectives.
Oh yeah, he's a smart cookie.
I agree with him on various things too.
I do too. I do too. And I think that's the big thing is all of us truthers, we don't always have to agree 100%. You know, we don't have to throw someone out just because we get to one area and we disagree. I think it's good to disagree with one another, and it sharpens. Sharpens each other. So
I used to talk all the time with a call for an uprising and stuff, and I keep in touch with a lot of these guys.
What about Richie from Boston? I've been on his show once before.
I've talked to him a few times.
Yeah.
He's promoted some stuff for me.
Cool.
But I talk more with like KJ from the Scariest Movie Ever, and I talk with Dana.
Oh, awesome.
Ashley.
Yep.
You know who she is.
I know.
She talks about 5G.
Hacking the headlines.
Yep.
No, that's not.
Yeah.
I used to talk with a call for an uprising all the time, but I haven't talked to him much lately. So
yeah, I just talked to him a couple of times. I think back in 2016 or whatever, he came into a couple group chats. But and I've talked to Richie a few times. But other than that, you know, they're just super busy pumping out content. And I know that all these different truthers are talking about all these different things. But it is intriguing how things are progressing. That's one thing we all can agree on is things are getting worse. You know what I mean? Spiritually. And again, I think it's biblical on what we're seeing in the world stage. And I agree with you that not everything is evil. It's like not everything is controlled, but a good portion of the world's ways are definitely not, of Yahweh's, they're not of God's.
Oh yeah, of course, right.
Yeah, we can all agree on that. And again, there's a spiritual dimension to everything, and especially the agenda moving forward.
The devil has like boundaries he can't cross too. I think he actually has to get permission
He does.
to do things. And I think that's why you see weird things like where they don't go in certain areas, and you're like, why don't they go over there? Well, maybe because they can't go over there.
Well, I always say they might have their agenda, they're moving along, but all of a sudden God just throws them a curveball and it sets them back 30 years. Like what I'm saying is that there always that element and that's a beautiful thing. We should be happy that he's, long suffering and that, he will actually take the time, because if he, destroyed the world, 10 years ago, a lot of people would be in trouble. So I'm happy in the fact that he literally is in control overall. And I'm sure that, even though these evil things are in works, he can basically put a wrench in it. You know what I mean? He can be like, no, not so fast. Not so fast here. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of the times. And quite honestly, you would definitely see that. Even in politics, you would have to, for God to give, a wake-up call to, say, society, saying, what do you want? Do you want to choose this or that, right? So I'm always careful on just, throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Or, for example, you'll see a lot of truthers, they'll say all these bad things about the Jews. I'm sorry, but not all Jews are bad, right? This whole idea that Israel's evil. I'm very careful speaking ill about Israel or speaking ill about the church. Yes, church has a lot of problems.
I'm kind of like neutral with, because I see negative and positive from both, and the fact of the matter is, like, there's other groups besides, like there's truthers. Have you ever heard of Run to Christ?
Who?
You never heard of him. Well, he never got super huge, but his name's John Walker. He Run to Christ. He's a truther as well, but he always would talk about the Freemasons, and he would talk about that they were the ones who were actually running the show. And a lot of truthers go into the Jew thing. Sure. I tend to think that the devil picks whoever he wants and uses them.
Sure.
And he uses all of them as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I don't think it's like one group running the show. I think the devil's the one trying to run the show.
I'm just saying when you look at your end times, this is we're going to segue back into the end times. When you're talking about Magog and you're talking about attacking, who do they all come against?
Israel, yeah.
Yeah, so my point is, when you see this rhetoric, building up decade after decade, this more hatred or more anti-Semitism, what I'm saying is, to me, it's very reminiscent of the way the world is going to be in the end times. The whole world is going to hate Israel, right? And we see that more people.
That's why I'm cautionary about talking, because there's a lot of people that talk against it all the time.
Oh yeah.
I think because they're like, oh, they're not the real, they're not the real Jews or whatever. And I think there are a percentage that are real and maybe a percentage that are not, obviously.
Sure.
And, I mean, even God can use evil people to get things done. right?
Well, who are the 144,000 for you in your eschatology when it comes to the 100? Are they Jews or are they?
I don't know. I can't comment on that because I don't know.
Okay.
Actually, I mean, that one. Cause
I believe they're from the 12 tribes. I
believe.
I believe.
I don't want to just throw out.
Yeah, and I believe they're from the 12 tribes. Like they literally are the 12 tribes of Israel, because you've got 12,000 times 12 is 144. To me, it makes a lot of sense for those to be the 12 tribes of Israel. Like that.
Well, and who are the 12 tribes? Obviously the two
Sure,
tribes.
sure.
Who are the other 10? Some say they came from Europe or whatever. I don't know. Who
Sure,
knows, right?
sure.
We don't know where they're at.
Sure. Like I said, we don't know 100%, and I think it's scary for anyone just to claim 100%, especially when it comes to Bible prophecy, because there's so many different varying views out there. To me,
That's right. With Revelation, I've went on all of them. I've actually been pretty much all of them.
So where are you with the rapture? Where are you with the rapture? Just curious, just if you're okay speaking about it. I mean, I don't believe in pre-trib.
I don't believe pre-trib.
I don't either.
We're going to go through something. I don't know if it's mid or post. Either way you look at it, we're going to go through something.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Whether it's, are we going to be around when the devil's punished too? Maybe not. Maybe we'll be gone at that point. That's kind of the one I tend to go with now, is that we're going to go through some hard times, and then eventually we'll get out of there, and then the devil's going to be basically punished. You know what I mean? For fighting against God. What I mean? The vials and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But the first part is they come against us first, and we have to be there for them to come against us.
Sure.
We're not going to just get out of here before. We're not going to get out of here like, oh, I got my $1 million house and nothing happened to me. I'm okay. Now I'm in heaven in another mansion.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like that.
Yeah, yeah. You're talking about some other like YouTubers there from the past. Did you ever reach out to Mario at all throughout the years? Like the Vigilant Christian?
Who is it?
Mario.
Who is it?
Mario, the Vigilant Christian.
Oh, Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually used to talk to him, and he kept telling me I would get on his program, and he never had me on, and he never came on my program. He kept promising it all the time.
Yeah.
I helped him out. I even did Skype with him a couple times, and the guy ended up having, I don't know if you've seen what happened.
Yeah, I've talked to him a couple of times, and he's actually in rehab right now. Like currently, like he actually
is he
does.
in rehab again?
He is. He does updates. He does updates continually. But he's been.
Are you friends with him?
I would say friends, but we've talked a few times. He's from Ottawa. I'm from the other end of Canada.
I used to defend him all the time. I used to make videos defending him, and then just.
He got trashed. He got trashed hard. He got trashed real hard. Now, he has to own up to some.
I used to be the one that defended him all the time back in the old days, 4 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Mario still. There were problems. There were issues there, but he's been very transparent. He's owned up to it. Yeah, he's in rehab. He's doing better and stuff, and he's been very transparent with his.
My last video was like, man, he's got to get serious. I told him he's got to get serious, and because if you're going to be on YouTube and if you're going to be a big YouTuber, you have to have a good reputation. Otherwise, you're just destroying your message.
Yeah.
If you have a bad reputation, everybody's just going to be like, why should I listen to you?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're on Instagram at all, but even on his Instagram, he's been able to retain, quite a bit. He had a large subscriber base as well, as you know. He had multiple channels, and a lot of people turned their back.
Subscriber base,
Oh yeah, and a lot of people turned their back on him, but he has regained a lot of people that have been following him through his journey, and he's been very transparent.
Well, I'm not against him. I just told him he's got to get serious. And I told him he's got to do the right thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he took down a couple channels. Again, I'm not super close with him. We have talked a couple times. Anyways, he was part of my journey. I
didn't even know he was around doing Instagram. I didn't know anything.
Oh yeah, he's around. He's on Facebook. No, he's on Facebook and he's on Instagram. He's not on YouTube. He's taken down, I think, both his channels. I think he's got one left. He gave
his channel to this guy, Warriors for Christ, and he just puts up stuff on his channel. I don't know if you realize that, but his big channel, he just gave it over to this guy, and it's called Warriors for Christ.
I know. Yeah, Warriors for Christ. Yeah, yeah. Hey, a question for you. I don't know how far back it goes, but do you remember Venom Fang X, YouTuber?
Yeah. Venom Fang X.
Sean, that was a long time ago, right? Yeah, I talked to Sean a couple of times, but he got death threats. He got all sorts of stuff going on because he did all those videos against Islam. And
really?
His family got it and all sorts of stuff.
I knew he did a bunch of videos against atheism, and I used to do videos against atheism.
Oh yeah,
so
he did. He did. He actually took them down. They were priceless videos. He did an entire reenactment of the angel appearing to Muhammad, and it was ridiculous. And they were so mad. They actually sent people out to kill him and stuff. Yeah, he actually took it down. I can't find.
David Wood does that stuff now, man. That guy's crazy. he's a good guy, though.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting seeing.
He comes from Michigan too. I come from Michigan. He comes from Michigan. His name's Wood. My name's Woodcock. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Kind of brothers.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. I mean, anyone that's actually been on YouTube. I mean, you've been on YouTube for 10 years. That is some feat. You know what I mean? Like that's an amazing, blessing, but also just the amount. I mean, how many videos would you say you've done in that time? I mean, it'd be an incredible amount.
Probably over 1,000, but I've deleted like 1 million. I only got 300 right now on my channel, and I got probably another 200 over on 2 other channels, and I have a business channel too that I've been doing videos on lately. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, Sale Daddy 1, but I'm not talking about business much. I'm talking more about this virus, and I talk about how it impacts business, and I talk about business stuff here and there once in a while, but I talk a lot about what I talk about on God Rules. So
you're not to throw any competition in there, but I'm really close. Like Emmanuel, the Controversy 7, lives in my city. Like we actually hang out with each other and each other's families. Anyways, we were just talking that I was having you on. He's probably listening in because he said he wanted to hear the show because he loves your stuff. But anyways.
There's a guy in Canada named Andre, Entertainment. Have you heard of him?
Yes, I have. Yep, I've heard of him. I don't know him, but I've heard of him.
Because I used to talk to him a lot. I'd had him on a couple live streams.
Okay. Well, anyways, he's you're I think 2 million total views, and then you'll catch up to him. I think he's at 42 million, and you're at 39,231,559 views. That is insane for a lot of people that are listening in or watching. Yeah, you've got close to 40 million views on your channel. Now, I'm just talking.
I think when you delete videos, it takes away your views.
It does. No, it does. It does. And you probably would have more.
I think I was at like almost 50 million views.
That's still insane, dude. That's still insane. Having 40 million views. Like, that is an incredible amount.
I'm closing in on 50,000 views.
Yeah.
YouTube's making it hard for us now, so.
No, yeah, that's true. But again, the good thing is though for you is you've amassed a certain, amount of subscribers. Therefore, you can really, keep that going. Because the one thing that YouTube's not doing, I mean, they are. I mean, I'm sure you've got people that have said, "Oh, I've been unsubbed to your channel." But for the most part, I mean, I'm looking at your views right now, and you pretty much are hitting, a certain percentage of your subscribers. But they might be doing the same thing with like what Facebook's doing. I mean, if you have a page on Facebook, when you do a post, it reaches 3% of your fans right now because they want you to pay, right? They want you to pay and stuff. So they're all moving that way where they're wanting you to, to pay or to do different things. But
why would I pay? That's why I don't do Facebook or I hardly ever.
I know I couldn't find you on Facebook. I know I was kind of looking for you and like. Oh,
I don't do Facebook.
You don't.
I hate Facebook. Yeah. By the way, I just hate it. I can't get on. The only thing I could ever get into was YouTube or any of the video platforms. I can get into I'm just not into them. I'm not into Twitter.
Yeah.
I just can't get into them. So, and I don't know, man. The fact that it's hard enough just trying to keep one going. You know what I mean? So I can't do 5 things at once.
No, fair enough. And you've got so many.
Mind,
Yeah, and fair enough. And you're just pumping out the videos, right? And I mean, you're hitting so many different topics.
Yeah.
So do you actually do you get a lot of people that will send you stuff now? Because I know you get to a certain level, a lot of people send you stuff.
Yeah, I get a lot of people sending me emails, but I don't get in my emails enough. But yeah, I've actually used a few things.
Oh, I know you don't get in your email enough. That's for sure. Or whatever it was. I remember when I contacted you. It was so funny. I sent out an initial email, and I think it was like 3.5 weeks to a month later. It was like, oh, sorry, I don't check my email much. So and then it was funny because I was talking to Nate.
This is the worst ever, so I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. I was just laughing.
I
was laughing though because then when I replied to you, I'm like, yeah, that's great. I'll get your number. It took another month for you to get back. I was laughing. I said to my co-host, I said, I'm waiting. It might take about 3 more weeks, and we'll finally hear from Tony. But anyways, it's all good.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Phone number, so you can just text me.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just teasing. I was just saying you're very truthful when you said I don't check my email.
I probably deserve it anyways. But do you talk to some of the other guys like Mr. Thrive and Survive?
Yeah, Rich. I had Rich. I don't know if you knew this, but I put on the Flat Earth International Conferences, the 3 in the States, and I put the first on the one in Canada. But I had Rich come out and speak at a couple of my conferences. But yeah, I know Rich well. Yeah, Mr. Thrive and Survive. Yeah.
I had him on a couple times, I think, on my live stream. I like him. He's a cool guy. And he and I were kind of like he understood where I was coming from, because I never was a flat earther, because I get stuck on the flat part. I agree that it's a fixed plane. I agree that the sky is above us. I believe there's a dome above us. I just don't think it's flat. I think it's like a bowl or something. I don't know what it is, but
that's fine.
My theory is it's a bowl. I don't know, like kind of like half of a circle hollowed out.
So it's the I forget which one that is. I actually have the painting on my wall.
Kind of like an eye or something, you know. Some people talk about an eye.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I look at it.
Okay.
That's just my.
Well, see, the thing is, it's all good as long as that we all agree that it's not a spinning ball flying through space, right? Everyone's kind of cool that way.
I think it's fixed, and I think the sky's moving.
Yeah, actually, we had someone in the chat. Kimberly Turner just said, "God Rules needs a vacation. He's pumping out videos super fast." Someone's saying that you deserve a break. You deserve a nice vacation.
Right. She's probably right, but you know, the whole thing is I'm actually building up a couple other channels right now, and once they get primed, I can get back to, because what I'm doing is one of the channels or actually both of them, I'm trying to play safe with them, you know, right on the edge, so that like I can get it to where they don't throttle me and they don't mess with me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I'm trying to get those channels built up so that they don't start growing like the old days. And as long as you avoid certain things, you can do it, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I noticed some channels are like right on the edge, and they're leaving them alone. So that's what I'm trying to do. And once I get that going, I figure I don't have to make videos every day anymore. Because right now, just so I can pay the bills, all that kind of stuff, I'm like having to put videos out every day.
Just put up funny puppy videos. Put cat videos up and funny puppy videos, and you'll be fine. Put up like cat videos, just silly cat videos.
What I was thinking is I like these. I have this one channel called Mysteries of the Unknown that I'm doing, and it's just covering really strange topics. And it has to do with, it could be science based, it could be like new tech, it could be, but it's like also kind of in our realm. You know what I mean? It's like kind of a mix, but it's like on the edge, so it's not. You've seen those channels that are kind of on the edge that are left alone, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do with them. And I figured God Rules, I can just say whatever I want over there.
Sure.
It's already screwed up, so I just keep going with it, you know what I mean? But these two other channels I'm trying to build up in kind of clever, secretive, it's like a project of mine, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to get those built up, because I figure they'll be able to pay the bills later, and I won't have to make videos every day, you know what I mean?
So, do you have like a Patreon? Like, is there any other way that your subscribers are supporting you? Are you just relying on advertising?
I have affiliate products. We're starting T-shirts. I just started selling them a little bit.
Okay.
We made this really funny one, Feel the Burn, Bernie, and it's got like the American flag upside down burning, and it has a communist flag on Bernie, and because I really think that's where we're going. Once we start turning communist, I think those predictions are going to start happening. We're going to our country is going to be attacked, and I think it's going to go all to hell. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But obviously, God's in control. In Henry Gruber's vision, he says that all the places that are believing in God and praying are actually mysteriously protected. So it's all these cities where all these people are that are essentially degenerates, or whatever you want to call them, that end up getting nuked, which obviously sounds like a good thing. If any bad thing like that's going to happen, that's the way you want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just don't be in the big cities, when it happens, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't be in New York. Don't be in big cities, right? So, but I mean, the thing is they're talking about towns that are just somehow mysteriously protected, and so I'm getting off that. I mean, I just think that I have affiliate products. I sell survival guides. You might have seen that if you watched any of my videos. I have the Lost Ways I sell a lot.
So you've been doing this full time for how long have you actually been doing this? Is like your full time since you started?
Full time, where I only do this.
Yeah.
I think I started in 2017. Right about the time they decided to demonetize. And I actually retired sort of my business. I was doing drop ship for many years.
Okay.
And I retired it at that point, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do YouTube full time. And then right after that, YouTube's like, apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Yeah, that was horrible.
So it was like perfect timing, I was like, wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Right when I go full time. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? A lot of people got hit pretty hard with apocalypse.
Hey, Rob, you got a question in the chat.
One sec, we got a question here. What's that, Pastor Nate?
Yeah, so someone was asking in the chat, what Tony's view was on the Space Force. Is that
Oh,
something
okay.
that is in place to basically fight against Jesus?
What's your view? I guess
when
there's
he
a
comes back.
question in the chat. What's your view on Space Force? Is it a view that is to fight against Jesus when he comes, or what? Like, what's your, I guess, your view on Space Force? Is it the sixth branch of the U.S. military now, or the fifth?
On what?
Space Force. Have you heard of Space Force?
Oh, Space Force. You mean what Trump is putting
Yeah,
up in
correct.
space?
Correct.
What are they going to use it for?
Yeah, that somebody's asking what your view. They wanted to get your opinion on Space Force. What do you think it's all about?
So what are a lot of people saying right now? Anyways, I'm just
Well,
kind of curious.
he was
I actually
asking
don't
if
have
it had anything to
opinion on
do
that.
with trying to,
He was asking if
fight.
it had anything to do with like the end times, like anything to do with the great
I
battle.
don't know.
Okay.
Well, it could very well. I don't know, man. I mean, are they thinking like it could drop an EMP on a country or something, or what?
No, like
'Cause I
fighting
don't even know what is
the
Space Force. I
powers
haven't
of
even
air.
looked into it enough.
Oh, he hasn't even looked into it. So yeah, I can't really comment
I
on it
haven't
if you haven't
looked
looked
into
into
it
it.
enough, so I don't know.
Yeah, he
I mean,
avoids
what-
he avoids going against Space Force or NASA. I'm just kidding. I know you don't. I know you've talked in the past before, but it is funny that you think that of all your videos, of all the stuff that you've talked about, it was NASA that got you in trouble. That's really funny. Not funny, but
Well,
you know
I
what I
mean,
mean.
it was not necessarily NASA, but just questioning science and NASA. Because my Antarctica videos were talking sort of about like, is this the border? You know what I mean, kind of thing. And I also mentioned something about Hitler. And maybe I shouldn't say that word on your channel.
Oh, that's fine. You can talk about Hitler. I mean,
Okay.
we're just yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I mean,
He was a historic figure.
obviously, allegedly, he went to Antarctica and all this kind of stuff. So I
He
talked
did,
about all
yeah.
that and about Hollow Earth and stuff a little bit too. And that's apparently the thing that got me hate speech, which literally makes no sense because I didn't say anything against any group, in the video. But apparently, if they don't like you, they just find random videos and say, "Oh, that's hate speech."
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true too. That can happen.
You talked about balls. That's hate speech. You talked about NASA. That's hate speech. You talked about whatever. That's hate speech.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, you're just a moron.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting how many times you've been like going to say something. You're like, oh, am I allowed to say this on your show? It's like, it's so sad that we're in a day and an age where we can't even really just talk about, I understand certain topics.
I know you're on the radio, but I
no,
don't
but
wanna
I'm on
push you.
YouTube. No, but I'm also on YouTube as well, right? I'm on YouTube. I'm just saying that some of these topics, I'm like, hopefully they're okay. I mean, I know when that line you cross, when you start going hardcore, like we were talking about before, but really if someone was reviewing this and we're bringing up a topic and we're talking about the way we are, if that really is going to get flagged, my goodness, man, there's no hope for humanity.
Well,
It's really scary.
much.
It's really scary. If the thought police are that extreme that they're going to like literally flag and take this down because of our conversation, I don't think we've said anything remotely hateful or anything derogatory or even false. We're just talking about our opinions and we're just having a chat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just think it's
You're
sad.
not allowed to have an opinion, though. So.
That is true. That is true, especially with this platform. But it is.
You're supposed to be a robot and just agree with whatever they say, man.
That's right. That's right. You remember the days when you could kind of like say something on YouTube. I mean, you really remember the glory days on YouTube if you started in 2010. I mean, what a time that was.
One day, I remember like, why aren't they stopping us from saying this stuff on YouTube? I remember thinking, I was like,
really?
Why are they allowing us to say all this stuff and paying us for it? I was like, that seems a little weird. That makes me think maybe this stuff isn't real. Then like literally the next day, all of a sudden, apocalypse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of funny, but yeah, we were in the glory days when they actually left us alone. I think back then they thought we were just harmless little crazy people that weren't going to make any impression on anybody. And then all of a sudden we started getting millions of views, and they're like, oh no, these people are actually changing things.
Did you find it interesting though?
Did
you find it interesting when I don't know if you read the headlines or you looked into any flat earthers, but all of the talk on flat earth, like when they were saying flat earth is dangerous and they started censoring of all topics, flat earth, these were in the headlines. Like,
I know, it's so dumb. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. But I think a lot of truthers, I mean, I don't know, you know who AMTV is, Christopher?
Yeah,
okay.
AMTV, right.
But he woke up to the fact, based on the fact that YouTube was actually mentioning flat earth and saying it's dangerous and we got to censor it. And he's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And he looked into it. And then there was another guy. What was the other guy? He was another big YouTuber. He actually came to looking into flat Earth more. Oh, it was SGT, Sean. You know Sean, right? SGT report.
Oh, really? He's into it.
Oh, he's I wouldn't say a closet flat earther. He's very smart the way he does it. But oh yeah, 100%.
He doesn't talk about it.
But he does. No, he does. He has
I
guests
didn't
on.
think
He has guests on, and he pretty much has, his audience. If they're not knowing that he's a flat earther, he couldn't say it more clear. He just doesn't focus on it, but he will have guests on from time to time and talk about NASA. He'll talk about this, but yeah, Sean.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I saw him questioning NASA, which was.
But Sean is. But he was
in my state, I think. He lives in Indiana, I think, with me.
Yeah, and the thing was, though, but what woke him up to taking it more serious was YouTube cracking down on, of all topics, flat Earth. He's like, wait a minute.
I noticed EMTV do it. I saw him put out a video about it.
He put on a big biblical one. He put a big biblical one out. It was really, really startling. But my point is this, though. They both woke up when YouTube started cracking down and mentioning those two words, flat Earth, and saying it's dangerous.
It's like they did the opposite. Whenever it's a truther, they're like, oh, they literally go the opposite way they say,
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying this is bad, that must mean it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you have planned, say, for you yourself, for your ministry, for what you're going to be doing? Kind of, what's the plan? What do you want to achieve here in the next 5 to 10 years, just overall? Do you have anything in the works?
We're actually making Christian video games too. By the way.
Oh, very cool. No, I didn't know.
We've been working with a guy who used to work with Rob Skiba. There's a
oh, you're talking about Tony. You're talking about Tony. You're talking about Tony.
Yep. Tony,
yeah, I know him. Oh, I know him. Yeah. I know all about that project. I wasn't. I actually, now that I think of it, he did tell me that you were involved with it. It just I lost track of that. But that's really exciting. So maybe talk a little bit about that, what you're working on.
Yeah. Tony from JIL. He actually, the programmer's named Justin, and I used to pay him all the time, but I wasn't able to pay him for a while because obviously YouTube made it sort of hard for me to do. So, but now actually things are going better, so I might be able to do it again. But also we have other ways that money are coming in to pay for the game development. He's actually a really good programmer, and we're working on a game called Noah VR right now, which is actually going to be literally a VR game where you wear like the VR goggles, like Oculus and stuff, and it's like Indiana Jones meets like the Book of Enoch or something. It's like it's literally about the giants. It's about Noah's flood. It's like an adventure game too. So it's really going to be awesome.
I've seen the trailer. I've seen the short little trailer there. The guy running and the dinosaurs chasing after him and stuff. It's pretty cool. Looks awesome.
Yeah, we got some new stuff too. I put it on a couple of my recent videos, but I put out so many. I put out videos every day now. But the thing is like. We're still working on this game, and we're hoping that we can eventually release it this year. We're working on other games. We have another one that's almost complete. That was a cell phone game. We're probably going to release that after this one. But so yeah, we're trying to get this Noah VR done, and so that's kind of my future. Is I plan on just continuing to do YouTube and growing. And like I said, I got some new channels I'm trying to grow really big, and I'm going to try to play it safe a little bit with those. And still do my stuff on GodRules too, of course. But
sure.
The thing is like I want to get into making a lot of Christian video games because I feel like it's like the Christian music industry. There was a time when there was no Christian music industry, even though there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the Christian music industry as well. The fact is, there was a time when there was none. There was like a zero Christian music industry.
Yes, trust me, I know that. I was involved.
And right now, there's zero Christian games, and we want to start a huge movement to where we have like a whole industry, like we have a whole Christian music industry. We're going to have a whole Christian video game industry.
That's awesome.
And that's what we're trying to do. And of course, we're trying to break into obviously secular areas as well.
Sure.
A lot of these companies, like Xbox and all of them that are getting into this VR in the future, they don't have any games, and they're willing to take whatever people are making at this point. You know what I mean? So throwing up a Noah VR is going to be something they'll accept because like nobody's got any games yet. They need a game. You know what I mean? So, but I mean the thing is that we want to spearhead the whole industry and get it rolling because I've wanted to do this since like 1998. I've wanted to make Christian video games, and I was actually getting mad over it. Like, why are there none? Why is there all these devil games everywhere?
Yeah.
Why is it literally like the devil's had a heyday with the video game?
He really has. He really has. There's so much symbolism.
And a lot of Christians, and I'm not saying a lot, but there's some vocal ones that are like, video games are bad. Now, matter of fact, I had a board member on my company that quit because we were making Christian video games, because he's like one of these holiness. I used to be into that, like very conservative.
Okay.
Like, games are bad,
Yeah.
Okay, dude, whatever. It's about Noah. I mean, what's so bad about Noah,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, not everything's
there
bad.
There are some Christians that are vocal like that. Games are bad. What are you talking about? Why are you trying to make games?
Yeah.
But,
well, and the thing is, though, I mean, from a ministry standpoint or from an evangelistic standpoint, how many people play games, right? It's a great way to reach people with the gospel.
It's like everybody does.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even when they tell you they don't, they do.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't play games.
I actually don't.
I
actually don't. But that's another matter. All I'm saying is, for me, I'll play a video game and I get bored of it in like seriously like 40 minutes and I'm done. So it's just one of those things. But I agree with you, like 90%, and it's a multi. Do you know that the video game market is bigger than Hollywood combined and the music industry combined?
It's bigger than the music industry
and Hollywood combined.
A lot of it's in cell phones.
It's huge. Yeah, it's a huge industry.
They say they don't play any games, but they're actually on their phones at night playing games, and they don't call them games because they don't think they're games.
Yeah.
But they're actually games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear what you're saying there. No, it's a huge industry. I think it's a great way, and like you mentioned, it's a total untapped market. I mean, there really is no Christian video games, right, of caliber, and that's another thing too. Right. If you're going to put something out, you got to put something out, professional, of caliber. That's when it will really wake people up. You can't just put out something shoddy either, right? Because then it reflects on the whole thing.
That's the point, man. Yeah. That's what we're trying. And Justin is like a high caliber programmer. He has some of the guys that are like that have worked on Call of Duty that are like asking him questions on how he did stuff.
Nice.
I mean, he's really up. We got a really good programmer, and he's working for peanuts, man. He's like getting paid nothing. I mean, if anybody in the crowd listening right now wants to help out with that, please, get in contact with me or whatever, or JIL, the website. Actually, the website's noahvr.net. I think it is noahvr.net.
Actually, you know what? You should reach out, and I mean, I have his information, but if you are talking with him, next time you talk with him, have him reach out to me, because I definitely want to get Tony on the show. He's actually been
really?
somewhat.
Okay,
yeah, I would love to go through the whole project. I know that he always sends me these emails here and there, and I've been like super busy in the past. But I definitely want to have him on the show, and we can just do a full 2 hour. He can go through everything. Right. I think it's a brilliant project. So I'm saying I'll probably remember it. But if you are just talking with him, say, hey, can you get a hold of Robbie? He wants to set up a schedule. A good time for you to come on the show. And then we can really talk about it.
I'm not trying to, put that out there. But
no. Trust me. I regularly hear from him. Yeah, it's a great project.
NoahVR.net is the website if people want to check it out. The programmer is high caliber. He could go and work in the secular industry and make a ton of money. Instead, he's literally making no money and is broke, and he's making Christian games. So
you should set up. You know what you should do. You should set up a GoFundMe.
He's been doing it for years too, by the way. This isn't like he's been doing it for months. He's been doing it for years like this.
You should set up a GoFundMe for him. You should set up like a GoFundMe for him.
We're trying to raise money for it, and we've gotten money here and there, and I've given money. I'm not, I've been trying to do as best I can to keep it going, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Skiba. I was with Skiba, I don't know, about 6-7 months back.
Skiba helped out a lot.
I know
too,
he did. Yeah, we were talking.
He helped out early on with getting games going, and he was given a lot too. By the way,
so, we were talking all about that project and stuff like that. So he was kind of giving me some updates, and he's working on some own stuff. His own project right now with Seed, and I think he just released his comic, and he's working on I think a complete animated.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I like a lot of his. I actually agree with him on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
and I've actually put out a lot of stuff that he's said himself.
Yeah, yeah. No, he's definitely got a great reputation right across the board. I know he took a lot of heat for the whole Flat Earth thing because he's going along doing his stuff, and then Flat Earth came out, and boy, he got hammered hard. He kept kind of persevering, and then he's definitely done some amazing stuff throughout the years, and I just know. Talking with Rob, it was one of those things where he got hammered pretty hard. Like he literally really went through a rough patch when all of a sudden, and it was funny, he wasn't coming out as a flat earther. He said, guys, I just want to look into it. And people lost their mind.
Right, yeah, I know.
They absolutely lost their mind. He did that for a year. Dude, he did show after show after show. And he'd say, look, I'm not a flat earther. I don't believe in it. I just find it interesting, or I'm just looking into it, and boy, did he get hammered. Like it was unbelievable how much people
Yeah, he
sent him hate.
lost a bunch of friends and people he worked with. And
A lot of donors, yeah. A lot of people in his ministry over the years, they just dropped him.
Which is kind of amazing, you know. I mean, I understand it kind of because, you know, maybe back when I was early on, I'd be like, yeah, you're kind of crazy. What are you talking about? But, you know.
Yeah. It was kind of sad.
Right, but I mean, I don't think I would have stopped giving. I'd be like, you know, praying for him, like, God opened his eyes to his crazy flat Earth stuff.
To his crazy stuff, yeah. Well, I think it's flat Earth. I mean, it's so preposterous. When you first hear it, it's just so... I mean, I tell people all the time, it is literally the upper echelon of the conspiracy scale. There's nothing more crazy or out there than flat Earth. Think about it. Name one thing that is more out there for the average person to hear about than flat Earth. It is the mother lode. I mean, you literally have hit it.
I don't know. I'd have to think for a while.
There's nothing. There's nothing. That's what I'm saying is for people. I mean, for myself being a hardcore truther, when I came to it, it rocked my system hard, right? So for me, if I'm going to get rocked that hard, what's it going to do to just general guy that's walking around still believes that jet fuel melts steel beams and buildings collapse? You know what I mean? He believes the official report of 9/11. I mean, what's that going to do to someone when you go from like 9/11 all the way to, you know, forget just even the moon, you're jumping to the Earth is not a spinning ball. You know, it's so crazy for people to comprehend that. So anyways, he persevered.
Well, it's really hard to accept too. It's a hard pill to swallow.
It is. You know, people come out with all their little stuff like, oh, you know, like they really aren't educated.
For me also, because I'm a mechanical engineer, you know, they're like, what are you doing? You're a mechanic. I mean, I don't believe it's flat, but like pretty much I agree with a lot of other main tenets of what you guys think, you know,
sure.
Like that it's a plane or that it's fixed and all this. But I just, you know, I keep an open mind because I don't want to go where I don't know what something is.
Which is great. I think
I don't know what the truth is exactly on that whole topic. So I just make a couple simple declarations and kind of, you know, go into things I do know. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Have you ever done it? Have you ever, like, going back to that, but have you ever done a video on flat Earth, like solely just on that topic? Have you ever done one?
I did have one where I talked. Yeah, I did actually, but it wasn't popular, and I actually deleted it. I think it was one of the many I deleted. But,
did you delete it? Why'd you delete it?
Well, because I thought maybe that was one of the things that was killing my account was
flat Earth. Gotcha. I gotcha.
It was. I also was deleting videos.
Dude, mark my words on this. Mark, you won't get in trouble.
You
You won't get in trouble. But just keep this in mind. Keep this in prayer. But honestly, if you put that up, you probably are going to get a lot of new subscribers. Telling you the truth. I mean, sure, you're going to get a couple people.
I've actually put up a number of videos that are pretty much apologetics for flat Earth recently.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, I have one going up today.
Oh.
It actually is probably an apologetic for flat Earth.
There we go.
That's why I'll get a lot of people in the comment section. They'll be like, you're a flat earther. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But they all think I am one because of the things I'm saying.
Sure.
You know? So.
Yeah. No pressure at all, obviously. And I think it's good for you just to take the stance. Look, man, I don't know what it is.
I have a video I put up about the celestial dome, 10 evidences for that.
Oh, wow.
All these other things like that. Yeah. I know I have a lot of videos which would basically be good apologetics for flat Earth. They would be. That's why a lot of people think I'm a flat earthers because they just watch those and they just assume it, you know.
Yeah. No, that's all good.
So
okay, let me ask you this question though. Forget the shape of the Earth. Do you believe they landed on the moon in the 1960s and 70s?
Well, if we did, it's not the stuff they showed us. That's for sure. Those are fake. All the videos they show us are fake.
Okay, fair enough.
Of the moon landing, and if they did go to the moon. Which I'm guessing they probably didn't. I'm thinking they didn't. If they did, it's probably a lot smaller, and it would have probably been more recent.
I'm more sure that they didn't go to the moon than the fact that we're not on a spinning ball flying through space. Like, honestly, it is so rock solid when you really look into it, the moon landing. But regardless, my point is this.
Well, yeah, I agree with you on all the footage they showed us is fake.
Yeah, my point is this, though.
I actually went through and showed it and proved it.
You take that stance with flat earthers, just the fact that you're skeptical, you don't believe that, or you really don't know if it is a spinning ball. That's fine. You have to understand, in a flat earther's book, you don't actually have to be a flat earther for you to be kind of quote unquote accepted. All you got to do is be skeptical or say, I'm not buying everything that NASA or that scientism is teaching me. That alone gets most people they're like, cool, man, he's cool in my book. So that's the thing
like the ISS, I know Juranism came out and he eventually said, yeah, I believe the ISS is real.
Yeah.
I was one of the few that said it was real. But
Jaron believes the ISS is real. Are you sure about that? I know Jaron well. He believes that.
He came out with a video. Okay, let me explain. What I'm saying is, I think a lot of the videos they put out are fake. Like, claiming to be on the ISS and the woman's hair sprayed up and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I think those are fake videos. But what I'm saying is, I think they actually do have something up there. They just can't get on it.
Gotcha.
And if they do, they only do it on a rare occasion.
Yes.
Because you can't live up there.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
That was always my viewpoint. And I know Tyrannism came out with a video saying that it was real because he actually found, he was actually able to zoom in with his camera and actually see the shape of it. I don't know if there was a video like about 2 years ago he put out like that, or a year ago.
Yep. Yeah, I know what you're referencing. I'll have to tell Jaron that you're a fan of his work. He'll be excited to hear. I'm sure he has.
I've actually talked to. I was on the Globebusters before.
Oh, were you? I didn't know you were on the Globebusters. Oh, well, okay, I didn't know that.
I was on there one time, and Tyrannism and
Bob Nodell and Iru Landu.
Who else? What's the guy's name?
Bob Nodell. Oh, you're talking about the Morgau?
But there was also the other guy.
The Morgau? John?
Yeah, the Morgau.
Yep.
All three of those guys were there.
Yep, I know exactly the time period when you were on. That's for sure. Oh, I didn't know that. I kind of vaguely remember it, but how did you must have just done a video and they must have spotted it or something in the YouTube thing, right? Did they just call you up and say, "Hey, we want to talk to you about a video"? How did they get a hold of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it must have been you're talking about NASA.
I talked to the Morgau some and here and there, and I was kind of friendly with him, and I was friendly with Rich also.
Okay, yeah.
And I think somehow I got connected with those guys, you know.
Very cool. Well, that's cool. Like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't want to make this whole show about where you stand on flat Earth. Again, a lot of people sometimes are intimidated when they come to...
I've had the same opinion for 4 years. I don't know exactly. I just know we're on a fix
that's cool.
Something.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. There's no pressure. Like I said, I didn't want to put you on the spot, or even if you didn't, I wasn't going to make a deal of it. I wanted to talk more about the stuff that you had been, talking about. How can people what's the best way to locate you, to communicate with you, to reach out to you? Maybe you can mention that before we close up the show. I want to make sure you got time to
communicate. I don't know, man. Maybe my email, if you're lucky, I guess. My email is. Do you want me to say my email address? Should I say that?
Well, if you want people to get a hold of you, sure. I mean, if you don't want people to email you, then don't.
It's arwoodco@gmail.com, arwoodco@gmail.com. But I can't guarantee I'll answer you quickly, so don't get offended if I don't answer you.
It's true, and I'm saying it took 3 weeks to a month for.
I've had a couple people who will write me an email, ask me a question, and then they'll write me 4 more emails, and at the last email they're like, "You're a bad person. I don't like you," and then they'll answer that email "Oh, dude, I didn't answer the email because I don't read my emails."
Yeah, I know how it can be.
The people that get emotional, they send you an important question and then you never answer it for a month.
So what are some of the big issues for 2020 that you see happening? Kind of here in closing, we've got a few minutes.
My goodness! Well, I think with the election, I think that I'm just curious what's going to happen once he gets in again, because I really think he's going to win. Are they going to go crazy? Is there going to be riots in the streets? Is there going to be
I think there is.
I
think there's going to be riots.
I don't know,
I think there's going to be riots. I think all hell's going to break loose. I mean, eventually it'll be contained. But what we saw when he first got elected, next time when they're quote unquote prepared, oh my goodness, man, the left are going to go nuts, like the snowflakes.
I think it's going to get worse. I think you're right. I think it's going to be worse. That's one thing for 2020. Another. What else? I'm wondering about this coronavirus and how far that's going to go. That's really kind of curious. I'm wondering, in the next month or two, I guess we'll know for sure. But I really hope it's not going to be as bad as it could be. You know what I mean? I hope it's going to be a good case scenario. It's looking bad though, but I don't know. We'll see. I definitely don't think it's fake though. But those two are big on my list. And of course, I don't know for 2020. I mean, I've been looking into a lot of stuff. With gun rights, I look into that some. Some of these protests for gun rights, First Amendment, Second Amendment.
Are you following? Oh man, why did I just forget her name?
High Impact Blogs. I follow him.
Okay, yeah. No, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, there's what's the other one?
I talked to him I text him regularly, but he's like me. He's so busy. I'll text him and he'll text me back a week later. So, that dude is so busy.
Yeah.
I think he makes more videos than I do.
That's true.
And he's harder to contact than me, probably, I think.
Oh, it's too funny. But anyways, getting into all the videos. Yeah, I don't know. You guys might be neck and neck. I mean, you put out quite a few videos. Like you said, you're increasing.
He works a job though, man.
Wow.
He works a job and he puts those videos.
That's
out.
amazing.
I'm like, I don't even know how he does. I told him when I talked to him on the phone, I'm like, how do you do that, dude?
That's amazing.
Like, what are you doing, man? He told me what kind of job he was working. I don't know if he's still working there, but he had like a kind of a good security job where he could actually work on his videos while he's working.
Oh, wow.
Security.
Cool.
So,
well, that makes sense. Then that makes a little bit more sense how he's able to pump out that many videos and work a full-time job.
yeah, probably like a lazy job where he could just sit around and look at monitors all day. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I think he. I don't know if he still does that job. That was last year. So I don't know.
Okay. It was
But
one.
he's a good guy. He's promoted some of my stuff too. Richie from Boston's promoted my stuff a
Yep.
little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, those guys are good. I like Richie. He's kind of a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, like I said, they're all like different personalities, and but yeah, they're going strong. That's for sure. I don't know what's Richie at. Do you know offhand? I forget what he's at subscribers, but he's up there. He must be at around 300.
he's about the same as me.
Yeah.
I think, but
Okay.
like actually he might be higher than me because I keep losing subs. I don't know where he's at, but last I knew he was like around where I was, sort of. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's also being pushed down really hard.
Yeah.
Personally, I think his account is like really hammered hard.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the ones like him, and then also what's his name, ODD.
Yep.
I think those guys are really like their channels are really being pushed hard down, like mine is. I think some of the truthers are still getting it okay a little bit. Like I think a call for an uprising, he's still getting it okay a little bit. Like his videos still get out and a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's being pushed down too, but not as bad. You know what I mean? But there's some channels that are really getting hammered harder than others. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, he's
he's
actually at 350.
Never came out as a flat earther either, so that's another factor.
Yeah, he's at 350. 350,000.
That's
so he's
what I
just
thought.
yeah.
I
You
was
guys,
at 350 at one time.
yeah. Now you're getting reduced or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean he's pumping
Soon
out.
it's going to say 340. It was 341 now. It's going to say 340 very soon here potentially because it keeps going. It's went down like since I was at 348 and now it's 341. So that's all you.
Well, I appreciate.
We're
going to be wrapping up the show here, but it's been a real pleasure having you on, Tony. The best to you, blessings, and hopefully everything is great here coming up here in 2020 and beyond. And it'll be interesting. Maybe we'll touch base and we can find out how all the things that you said as far as Trump and we'll keep an eye on this coronavirus. You know what I mean? I think we're spot on of what is coming for sure, and I guess we'll see how that plays out. So. Thanks again.
All right.
Sorry you couldn't hear Pastor Nate Wolfe because for whatever reason we had those technical issues. But anyways, it was really great having you on. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll stay in touch. Thank you very much.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
And that was God Rules. Hopefully everyone had a great time. We had a good time with Tony from God Rules. Go over to his channel and support him. He's definitely not getting, if anything, he's losing subscribers now because YouTube is hitting him so hard. Nate, are you there? Because I'm sure we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
Yeah,
I
so
had
allow you to
muted
talk.
there 'cause
People
I
were
was
like saying,
listening.
somebody said in the chat room, they said, Pastor Nate is being so humble this evening.
Well, I was listening since we didn't have music for the show ending through Skype. And so I was listening online to make sure we didn't go over. So I had my mic muted because I was listening to the radio show.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm just trying to be
I just
helper.
wanted to give you an opportunity now just to just talk a little bit because that was a show where you weren't able to talk at all. You're just like, I got a question. And I'm like, I had to relay it to him just for people that are coming in to understand why Pastor Nate, he wasn't being shy tonight. He wasn't actually being overly humble in the conversation, or I wasn't cutting him off all the time. Basically, because I had my headphones on and because Tony was experiencing technical issues on his end, we called him up on my phone. Therefore, you guys could hear everything, but unfortunately, he wouldn't be able to hear Pastor Nate talk or ask questions. So therefore, I had to relay to him, and I guess he just remained fairly quiet through it. So anyways, what did you think? Maybe you have some time to maybe give us your overview of the topic.
No, I mean, Tony's one of those guys that you could just talk for hours and hours. I mean, he's covered so much ground. I appreciate his honesty, being upfront about, well, here's what I do believe. This I'm not so sure about. I mean, sounds like a pretty straight up guy,
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that about him. And the fact that he's on a grind. I mean, I can respect that. It's like he said, it's not easy. And if part of your livelihood is supported through YouTube, imagine that even 2 years ago, year and a half ago, your income through YouTube could be like a fire hose,
Yeah.
and now it's like a garden hose that has a kink in it. It's just a little trickle.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm a small channel. I'm closing, he's closing in on 50 million views. I'm closing in on 50,000 views, but that's cool. But my channel's monetized, but I think I'm at about $86.
Yeah.
They don't even cut you a check until you reach 100.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. No, I mean, but that's the thing when it comes to like all of this stuff. I mean, we've been talking about the censorship, but I mean, we had the Controversy 7 on, and he's at 300,000 subscribers. Tony, with GodRules is at 350,000, right? What I've noticed though,
these last two guys, they would have been at 1 million, plus by now.
If they weren't censored, they easily would. No, there's no doubt about it for sure. I mean, I've seen it even with my own stats on Celebrate Truth. But the reality is this, that you will not see many truther videos hitting 1 million anymore. I mean, I remember, this was just commonplace for a lot of YouTubers or a very viral video, but they have it in the algorithms not to do that anymore. I mean, it must be frustrating. I know it's frustrating for the Controversy 7 or God Rules, when they see, hundreds and hundreds of thousands on their videos, right? And now it's like 20, 30,000 is max. And I mean, he's got 350,000 subscribers. I mean, that's a tremendous amount. And I was encouraging Emmanuel, the Controversy 7, the other day. I'm like, dude, that's still a tremendous amount of people that you're reaching, right? So I said, take heart in the fact that if your video is going to 20 or 30,000 views, that's a lot of people, right? That's like a small, small city almost.
Well, it's interesting because, there's the bigger channels like yourself and then, Tony and Controversy 7. Then you've got active but small channels like myself. But I'll tell you, Robbie, I can tell you it was shortly after YouTube announced what they were going to be doing. Even my channel was seeing a downturn. And, it was like every time I'd go up 10 or 15 subs, then all of a sudden they'd knock me down in one shot, and I'd be minus 10 subs. Took me like 2 weeks to get to 1,500. Took me almost a whole another year to get to 2,000. Yeah. And now I've been creeping along. I'm almost at 2,500, which is exciting. But I'm telling you, I don't have a big channel, but I think they see me as a very potentially dangerous individual because of the fact that I'm a minister who has left the mainstream and has not, shied away from speaking on any topic that I felt was important. And so they definitely want to keep me small. They don't want to let me grow.
Sure. And I think that's going to be the case for, a lot of people, especially up and coming people that are just joining YouTube. You know what I mean? Touching on any of these topics. Those days are over. I mean, forget these topics. Even if you're controversial politically, they're clamping down on that. I mean, you can't even openly talk negatively. I mean, we're really heading towards communism in the sense that these powerhouse social media juggernauts are really starting to control what people can say and what people can't, which is really dangerous. Even though they are free platforms, they really are the bloodline, the pipeline of culture and society.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it was good. I was enjoying it, man. Yeah. I mean, we did what we had to do with the phone. I would much rather us.
The show must go on. The show must go on.
Yeah. I mean, we had to hack the technology to make it work, and that's cool. I was happy just kind of listening in. So no worries.
Huge thanks again to Comcrash, Rob Baxter. Love you, bro. Thanks so much for making the connection. It was a great idea. Really admired his work for a long time, and it was good to get connected. It is funny though how it takes him such a long time. He's busy, and I wasn't trying to rag on him too hard, but it is funny that I put that initial email out. A month later, he gets back. It's like, yeah, I'd love to come on your show. I'm like, great.
Nice.
Then I reply to him. I'm like, great. What's your number? Let's hook it up. Another month goes by. You know what I mean?
It's funny.
And then he's like,
well, and Tony Tony gave us an idea. We should have Rich, Mr. Thrive and Survive on.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have so many good people on. That's right. We haven't had Rich on, so we should definitely reach out. I'll definitely reach out
Bob
to Rich.
Odell, we got to get him on here. I know he's a busy dude.
And if you guys have suggestions, send an email to icelebratetruth@gmail.com. If you have a suggestion for an awesome guest you want on, we'd love to get your suggestions on someone you think would be awesome to get on and talk. These shows are great when we get to really pick someone's brain and get into all the stuff that they're doing, that they're providing.
Nicholson, 1968. I would love to.
Great suggestion. Yeah. Nicholas would be great. Yeah. Nick, I've only talked to him once actually before. So if you have a way of getting a hold of him, or a good contact way to get a hold of him, that's the thing now. Sometimes when you want to get a hold of these people, how do you do it? Because YouTube is like really reduced. Being able to communicate through YouTube anymore, right?
Yeah.
And like you said, with the email, a lot of people don't even. How do you know you got the right email? All these things, right? But,
yes, exactly. So no, I thought it was a great show. I appreciate Tony making the time to come on, and even despite a few technological challenges, judging from the chat, it sounds like most people really enjoyed the show. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. We'll have a great show next week. Actually, you're going to be busy next weekend, so you won't be on. That'll be would that be like your first show or your second show that I've just done solo?
This will be the second one.
That's right.
I think there would have been a third, but we had canceled that night. So
yeah, that's right. This would be the second time where you're not on.
Yeah, actually, I did 2 solo shows and you did 2 solo shows. We're neck and neck.
There we go. We're neck and neck. We're tied.
Which tells you that we're pushing up on close to 60 shows.
We are.
Which means that we've done almost every show together. So that's cool.
That's right. This is number 57.
Wow.
Episode 57, Celebrate Truth Radio. Thanks so much for tuning in, coming by, stopping by. It was amazing. Just let you guys know, the 24/7 live stream will begin about 5 minutes after we end this show. So you can head over there or just stay on Celebrate Truth, and it will appear there. If you're not familiar with that is 24/7 around the clock, the best Flat Earth videos and so much more. And that runs on the channel. And there's great mods. Big, huge shout out to all the great mods that help keep that running clean. It's been going now for over 2 years.
Wow.
Which is amazing. Got lots of stuff from Pastor Nate Wolfe in there, my documentaries, videos. There's a whole list in there. You'll see the whole list of all the different people that we play videos from. But it's a great way if you want to just have that on in the background and learn, or stay tuned to what's coming. So, but we got a lot of things in store here for 2020. It'll be interesting to find out. We never got to get your feedback. It was unfortunate on the show, but real quick, we won't talk about Trump. We've already talked about him before. What do you think about the whole coronavirus? Oh, by the way, beer virus. We can't say coronavirus. The beer virus.
I was clowning around in the background in the chat when you guys were doing that. I said that the coronavirus has mutated. There are now 2 slices of lime associated with the coronavirus.
I was going to say something, but I didn't want to interrupt him talking, but I saw that. I was like, that's so silly. It's mutated. It's mutated.
No, I mean, I think that there's some legitimacy to it, but I think that they're trying to control the narrative, right? And I thought you made a good point about how they're making sure that it stays in the news, but they're really kind of muting it. They don't want people to panic, right? It's almost kind of like, we want to just, kill you off slowly, and then all of a sudden it grows, and then you're like, oh, what do we do now? So I don't know. I have been back and forth, this last couple of weeks. I did notice this week, actually the last few weeks, that Tony had really been pumping out the videos on coronavirus. Yeah. I haven't had the time to watch those, all of them, because I've been getting ready for this conference, but I probably go back and give a listen, at least give what he's saying a hearing.
Sure, it's interesting.
Yeah, I guess time will tell, right?
Going from 2 extremes, you got like Russian vids, right? He'll kind of have his extreme, but another topic. I don't know. You weren't able to talk about this either, but like the guy that has dwarfism, I forget the guy's name. Is it Quentin? Maybe someone in the chat can help me out there. I forget the guy's name, but anyways, curious if you saw anything here. Pop up.
That is Quaden Bales.
Quaden Bale. Yes.
Quaden Bales.
Yes.
Bayles.
Quaden Bale. Yes.
Russian vids hit pretty hard on it.
Oh, I know he did. I didn't watch it. I saw it pop up, and I was just like, looking into it briefly. And again, I said I could be wrong, and I haven't looked into it enough, but I have seen the side where they're like, it's fake. You know, the guy's 18. You know, everyone's been had. I briefly looked into just some, corroborative evidence supporting the fact that there's a history of his entire life up to the age of 9, if indeed he is 9 years old, right? And anyways, I'm just saying I have a feeling that I think that these truthers that are going out saying it's all a hoax, if it continues on, he gets bigger and bigger, the truth will come out that he's not. He literally is a disabled boy, right? Though he looks that way.
I would say this. It wouldn't surprise me if it was fake, but look, even if it's fake, guess what? He is most certainly being used by the powers that be. He's even being used, it seems like, almost by his own mother and family. Yeah. So, hey, even if it's I guess I'm just saying that I think that he is certainly a victim here, even if he is in some ways, if it is fake in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. I just know how easy it is for folks to get manipulated, right?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And I agree with that.
It's sad either way. That's my position.
And in closing, speaking of another sad event, Mad Mike Hughes died today in his tragic rocket accident. So if people aren't aware...
I just heard about that a few hours ago. I haven't had time to even watch the video.
It was horrifying because I didn't know what was going on. Someone said, there was problems with Mad Mike Hughes' rocket launch. And I'm watching this video and I kind of skip ahead and I'm like, oh no. And it looked like the parachute flopped out and he was still in the rocket and it descended to Earth. But it was confirmed that he is indeed, he died. He died today, this afternoon. And he was the guy that was planning to do the rocket launches. I'll say one thing about Mad Mike, even though we had disagreements in the past, I'll say he definitely was a brave guy and he did set world records. I mean, that's one thing about Mad Mike. He literally made the Guinness Book of World Records, I believe, 7 or 8 years ago. And he was striving to, be remembered, and he will be remembered. That's one thing. He definitely made a mark.
I'm sure people will start to see some of the friends in Facebook on my Facebook had posted. So a lot of people still haven't heard. So I'm sure it'll circulate.
It's tragic, that's for sure, and definitely hers with him, with his family, and it's tragic. But I know a lot of people. These were incredibly risky stunts that he was doing. Everyone feared.
Sure.
This could happen, and it's just tragic. And I would like to know what happened with his parachute, because you would think that you'd have, a backup, you'd have people checking these things, but it looks like he was not strapped at all to the parachute.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of, people, theorizing and making claims saying it's a fake thing, and because of the date today,
Oh, it's definitely real because Mike Hughes, if it was fake at all, I mean, he definitely wanted to make sure that he was doing media interviews and documentaries. And by the way, Discovery Channel was actually shooting something for an upcoming show that is going to be happening here in, I think, in mid-2020. I think it's called Amateur Astronauts or something. It was talking about documenting different people that are aspiring to do different things outside of, NASA and stuff. They were different agencies, but Mike was going to be featured on that as well. And I know that multiple teams were there. Paramedics were there before the launch. A bunch of his friends were there. And I mean, the video is there. You can surface it. It's a 2-hour video. You can see it all. It's
and anybody who's friends with Dave Marsh, the Moon Man, Dave Marsh on Facebook, he posted the link. That's how I first saw it, just like 3-4 hours ago.
Yeah, he had popped that up, and then all of a sudden just watched the video, and then all of a sudden, sure enough, there were news reports coming in that he was indeed confirmed dead. I believe on impact. But again, more news will come out, I think, in the next couple of days about what exactly happened. I just like to know what happened with the parachute. Because it's definitely tragic that the parachute, was deployed, and unfortunately Mike, was not attached to the parachute. So, anyways, we'll leave it with that. But great show with Tony. God Rules. Make sure that you support him. He's doing this full time. He's got a lot of projects on the way, especially with the video game that he had talked about. I know that we're going to get another Tony that is the director and kind of organizer of that project. And I know Rob Skiba and others that are continuing to work on that NOAA VR project. It is absolutely exciting on all levels. We'll get him on the show here soon, and he can talk all about it because it's been in development now, I believe, for close to 3 or 4 years now. So it's a pretty lengthy project and substantial on all levels. So we'll get him on the show. I think that'll be really exciting.
Nice.
So you have to remind me if I forget. Say, hey,
Okay.
have you got a hold of Noah VR guy? And I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right, because I have his email and I know that he reaches out. But hopefully, God Rules will reach out to him as well too, and we'll get him on. But I'm sure Rob Baxter will probably know who we're talking about as well too. It seems like Rob Baxter just knows everyone. He's just the connector.
Yes.
He's the guy that connects everyone. He's done that. He did that for my Scientism Exposed 2 documentary. He started connecting me with like Aaron Judkins and like Joe Taylor, and you know what I mean? A lot of those people that are in that documentary, it was because of Rob Baxter. So huge thanks again. Can't say it enough. It's great. And if you have any more suggestions, Rob, let me know or make some connections, because you have a great way of doing that. So anyways, It's been another amazing show. This is episode 57 with me, Robbie Davidson, and Pastor Nate Wolfe. And we will see you again, not next week for Pastor Nate, but you will hear me and then both of us the following week. So take care. Blessings.
Awesome.